You're watching the 2024 Minor League Cricket Championship presented by Yash Technologies.
And welcome, cricket fans of America. This is your game, the 2024 Minor League Cricket Championships, presented by Yash Technologies. We are here live at the Santa Clara Cricket Club. Joe Hickey on the comms, and I'll be joined in a little bit by Hari Venkatramani on MILC Comms debut. Looking forward to hearing a little bit here from one of the up-and-coming broadcasters in the Bay Area cricket scene. But today we've got ourselves a bit of business to attend to. The East Bay Blazers and the Golden State Grizzlies will face off in a pair of games. Double your pleasure, double your fun. Let's play two, Ernie Banks style, whichever way you like to think of it. And it will be the final two matches of the season for the men in yellow. The East Bay Blazers looking to close out strong and potentially secure themselves a playoff spot today. They come in at 4-2. The Grizzlies at 2-3 on the season, with one more game coming up. We will take a look here at the squad lists for the two teams. For the East Bay Blazers, just one change, and it is the reinsertion of their young captain, who was not available for the trip down to Southern California, the 4 games played down at Woodley. It'll be Sanjay Krishnamurthy into the side, Suleiman Arabzai out. Otherwise, it's as you were: Gowda, Ghani, Vikash, the Ganeshes, Paradkar, Tariq, Ugarkar, Leroux, and Ramsaran. If we take a look as well at the Grizzlies 11, and it will be the Blazers batting first, and so you see the two openers already out there. Grizzlies currently in the huddle. They have two changes. Vatsal Vagela, similar situation to the Blazers, the young captain, unavailable last week for, as it worked out, half the season, played in the span of about 72 hours. But he comes back into the side in place of Amok Adepali, and then Ali Raza, a young player here from the local scene, will be replacing Mohit Nataraj, who's unavailable. Otherwise, Jariwala Adada Kranti Garg, Bat Sekon Tondale Tadani, and Vraj Patel. Those 9 players all back in the side as expected. And we'll bring in here to introduce you to Hari Venkatramani. Hari, thanks so much for coming on out here. Happy to have you aboard today.
Good morning, Joe. Good morning to all the folks here in the ground. Good morning to the folks watching the live stream. It's turned out to be quite a chilly morning, although the cricket promises to be quite toasty. You've seen a few minor league games here in this ground and other grounds. What is a typical par score at a ground like this, Joe?
Well, Santa Clara, it's varied a bit up and down. You and I did the Blazers Bay Area Women's Open final, and we were seeing scores, generally speaking, topping out around the 80s or 90s. In the game that the one game we've had so far here in Santa Clara, East Bay Blazers were able to chase down a total of 100, but it took some doing. So a par score here is certainly in the low triple digits at the moment. Of course, 2 weeks have gone by. The dew, I think, that was on the field when we got here has largely burned a bit off as the sun's come out here in Santa Clara, and it's a rather glassy-looking pitch, so it'll be interesting to see what that yields for the bowlers on either side. Two very talented, in one case, very green bowling attack for the Grizzlies, but they've certainly gotten the work done.
Speaking of green, I see the outfield is actually a lot more uniform now compared to a couple of weeks back. So perhaps there might be a bit more travel in the outfield today compared to the Blazers Bay Area Women's Open.
Yeah, certainly the issue in those games was that the fours were very hard to come by. If you got it on the ground, it generally got stopped. If you could put it in the air, you were in business. And we saw a decent display of six hitting late by the Blazers in that game. We do have our openers at the crease here. It's Sujith Gowda and Usman Ghani. A bit of a change from the way that the Blazers began this season when they began with Saideep Ganesh, who had been an opener the last 2 years for them. But Ghani was expected when he came over from Afghanistan. 27-year-old has opened with the Afghan national team. Among other defining factors for him, the second youngest player ever to record an ODI century, did so at the age of 17 against Zimbabwe. And so he will be the one getting things started. The bowling will be started by Adnesh Tondale, who takes the ball from the schoolhouse, or rather the Homestead Avenue end, and we are about to get underway here. A long day of cricket, a journey of 1,000 miles, begins with a single ball from Tondale. That one worked to the onside by Sujith Gowda. It'll be a single to get things started.
Usman Ghani about to face his first ball. We've got a couple of right-handers in the middle, and we've got a right-arm fast bowler operating over the wicket.
Gowda, somebody who's been getting off to much quicker starts as of late, struggled just to get out of the box last year with Dallas Mustangs.
I'm looking through Gowda's stats right now. He's got a strike rate of 135 for his runs across this tournament. Not just this tournament, across his stats on cricket clubs and minor league.
Yeah, it's a bit down from what we were seeing earlier as Tondale manages to dance with the wide line, but earns a dot. Gowda, particularly an amazing player here in the Bay Area in 2021. One of the absolute MVPs of minor league cricket that season. 22, very strong as well with the Dallas Mustangs, and then a real off year in 23. He's back to his usual ways back here in the Bay. It is Ghani on strike to face Tondale. Ooh. That one, oh boy, jumps up on him and took a piece out of his shoulder. And an early sign of demons in the pitch. That didn't look short enough to come up on somebody like that, did it, Huddy?
It definitely didn't. It was sort of back of a good length. It jumped up on him. I was waiting for an umpire signal, but it looks like it's got some glove. I didn't see a signal. So that's runs, I believe.
That's interesting. Certainly looked like, it seems like Ghani is tending to his wrist, so maybe indeed it did get some glove. At least live from here, I thought it looked like it got him squarely in the front shoulder, but indeed, runs given. That'll get Ghani off the mark. Usman on the season so far started a little slow, 2 off 6 against the Silicon Valley Strikers on opening day, and he's been improving each time out. Recorded 8 against the Thunderbolts on Friday, took off the Saturday game, and then 18, and then 37 off 37 against the Lashings. We'll see if he's going to be able to continue here as teams take the opportunity to gather their wits. Just 3 balls into this one, 2 for no loss so far. It does appear Ghani's going to continue. Bit of encouragement there. Or perhaps in the case of the little tap there, I thought that was to Ghani to reassure, to encourage him. It might have been to Gowda to reassure him, yeah, I'm okay. I'll survive this.
Looking at Ghani's stats, he's got 65 runs so far, striking at 100 plus. Like Joe mentioned, a highest of 37. He's got 5 sixes so far, so almost half of his runs are coming courtesy of those big boundaries. Driven towards mid-off for a dot ball.
A beautiful Yorker right there to stick him firmly to the crease. Yeah, you're mentioning Ghani's propensity for those boundary strokes. It's generally speaking, particularly how he's been scoring when he's batted in the power play. 23.1% of the balls he's faced have traveled to the boundary, but on all the other balls, his strike rate is a 30. So very much stuck at one end of the crease. will enjoy getting a run early, even if it came with a little bit of pain associated with it. That one catches a piece of the bat, snagged, but it's going to be a wide. No, it did not catch the bat. In fact, the signal is a wide. Thought we heard a sound on the way through. The man with the gloves behind there, the local Rahul Jariwala of Fremont, but just simply saving, well, an extra 4 wides as opposed to dismissing Sujith Gowda cheaply.
That was indeed an acrobatic dive by Jariwala, diving to his left adeptly and stopping that.
Extra run could come of use. Here comes Tondale again. That one is driven to mid-on, but there's a player right there to claim it. No run on. So we take a look here in this first over. Of course, inside the power play. Just 2 fielders outside the inner ring. And currently with the 2 righties, it's been third man and square leg in the deep. Pretty typical. Gives you a little bit of flexibility as a bowler. You can try and go wide. You're not worried about getting it flicked over the top of a short third man. You can come in on the body. You're not worried about it getting flicked over at square leg. You've got some protection for each of those. Keep the batter guessing. That one again down the leg side. This time around, not a wide. It caught a piece of pad on the way through. And that is going to do it here for the first over. So 4 dots, a wide, and a pair of singles. One coming in painful fashion for Usman Ghani. East Bay, 3 for no loss.
Even the best in the business needs a strategic partner to help them win. Yash Technologies, more than what you think.
It'll be Sukhwan Sekon taking the first over from the schoolhouse end and preparing to bowl at Usman Ghani. Sekon made his 2024 debut down in Southern California. Bowled in 2 of the matches as he practices the run-up, make sure that he likes it from there. Or 2 weeks ago when we had a pair of minor league games here, we were unable to bowl from that end of the ground. There was an issue with the ground in the run-up. And today, able to use both of them. It'll be Sekon steaming in from the schoolhouse end with the first delivery, left arm over the wicket, and that one is shot through a gap just behind point and on its way to the boundary. And as you heard from Hari just moments ago, a good look at the outfield actually being a bit more conducive to working it along the carpet.
That is very good connection by Usman Ghani. There are 3 guys around the point region in the offside, a wideish slip, a couple of guys around the point region. Nonetheless, it found the gap and it raced the fence in just a couple of seconds. First boundary of the morning. Ghani would be feeling a lot better with that boundary after that early blow to the shoulder or glove.
Whatever it hit it hard. Looking to scoop one back behind leg, but it's doesn't get a piece of anything. Another wide signaled by the umpire over at that end. And that is Sundaram Subramanian, currently the one behind the wickets. Square leg umpire at the moment here at our Homestead Avenue end is Sunil Singh.
Just Ghani shaping for a cut, just thinking about a cut for a couple of seconds, but letting it go. Dot ball.
Yeah, Sekon, somebody who bowls from a little bit of a 3/4 arm angle. Not exactly Lasith Malinga slingy, but for the uninitiated, Sri Lankan who was among my first encounters with cricket. Very rather unforgettable character. He's a little bit shy of that sort of angle, but does good work to build an angle across a batter coming around the wicket from the left side. Said 2 performances last weekend. Took 3 wickets against San Diego for 26 runs. Was beaten up a little bit against Seattle. That one is in the air and well clear of Dev Tadani, the deep man at deep point. And that'll be the day's first maximum, 6 more for Usman Ghani. Very productive over here in his first encounter with Sukhwan Sekon.
Early indications of Usman Ghani finding a six-hitting form here. That's the first 6 of the game. The change of angle to left arm around the wicket not quite working there, allowing Usman Ghani to free his arms, and he found a lovely piece of that flew over the third man region in an instant. Much better from Sukhwan here. That was bowled into the pitch, sort of cramping the batter for width.
Yeah, that's more the way you've got to go here. If it comes out wide and it stays wide, then Ghani's going to wreck it. We've already seen evidence of that on 2 occasions, even with that rather biased offside field.
Possibly as a reaction to that 6 earlier, they've got a very, very deep point fielder, sort of.
That one worked back to the man at fine leg. Thought about trying to take the single. Nothing doing, though. Good work inside the inner circle here by Vraj Patel, one of the other debutante bowlers for the Grizzlies. Sekon, at the very least, had some history with the Grizzlies. He bowled for them back in minor league cricket's inaugural season, took 11 wickets at 23.5 per for an economy just under 7. Ghani offered at that. We'll see if he got anything on it. The ball runs back behind the wicketkeeper. Must have. I have a hard time believing Jadiwala would have just straight up missed that with the gloves, but indeed he did. That is just perhaps picked up another demon in the pitch and flown wide of Jadiwala, and they pick up a pair of runs.
On top of the demon in the pitch, that sort of bounced feet or so in front of the keeper, which sometimes makes it interesting to collect. A couple of handy buys for the batting team there.
And that'll take care of things here in the second over. 11 off Sekon and 13 in total. 16 for no loss for East Bay.
It's an impossible shot.
Sometimes creativity and innovation are all it takes to achieve the impossible. Yash Technologies, more than what you think.
Adnesh Tondale continues from the Homestead Avenue end, and his first delivery of over number 3, tapped to the offside, nothing doing there. Usman Ghani faced every delivery of the second over, and certainly got his money's worth from it, a 4 and a 6. He's now sitting on 11 off 8. Sujit Gowda still looking to get himself firmly underway, scored off the first ball he faced, 4 dots since.
A much more conventional field for Sujit Gowda here. It's a conventional third man and 5 other guys on the offside.
Yeah, you certainly get a sense of where Ghani likes to go, and so also that Golden State knows that. They'll take the quick single here as it's tapped into the ground just in front of Sujit Gowda. Gowda, somebody who for sure has all the shots, and that includes the occasional front foot defense to scamper a quick single. But his skill set completely on display on Friday against Seattle when he put up a massive total of 94 rather, from 58 deliveries. I believe, if I have that correct, Stephen Taylor, the only player that has surpassed that in a single game so far in 2024 MILC. Tondale steaming in. Again down the leg side, again a wide. And in this case here, perhaps lucky he didn't get a feathered gloved edge to that. The acrobatic collect from Jadiwala.
That's possibly the third wide of the morning so far. Grizzlies trying to get the radar right. They've got a predominant offside field, so they would want to stick to fourth stump or thereabouts. But at least a couple of occasions, perhaps they've scuffed their run-ups up a little bit, taking it down the leg side.
Yeah, it's the knock on Tondale. He's been very economical so far in the power play.
It's a much better line, but batsman equal to the task, rising on his toes and tapping it into the offside for a quick single.
Oh, very nicely done. Yeah, Tondale generally limits boundary strokes here, and we saw a very economical first over. The one knock on him is the tendency towards the extras. 9% of the runs that he concedes in the power play have come that way. So far, nothing explosive yet against him. 9 balls into his spell.
And that's partly because of the length he's bowling. If you've noticed, both his first and second overs, he's been hitting this hard length.
That one is a bit fuller. Gowda able to get bat to it, but nothing further. Another dot for Tondale.
A lot of chirp and outfield encouragement for Tondale.
You certainly like to see it here. Golden State are going to need to have a special day of cricket here today if they're going to keep their season and playoff hopes alive at 2-3. Rising onto his toes and tapping that to a vacant area on the onside. Gowda another single. The Grizzlies come in at 2-3. If they were to sweep today, they could really sow some absolute chaos in the Western Division playoff race. East Bay with 1 victory today would cleanly eliminate half the division. Because you currently have Thunderbolts on 5 wins, East Bay would go to 5, and Lashings, Strikers, and in the case of a Blazers win, the Grizzlies would all be on 4 losses. We're just playing 8 games, so that would narrow it down to 3 teams if it happens. That one tapped a bit of an edge back to fine leg, and that'll be another single. So they're operating chiefly here in singles and the occasional extra against Tondale. 5 from it, 4 off the bat. East Bay, 21 for no loss through 3.
Even the best in the business needs a strategic partner to help them win. Yash Technologies, more than what you think.
It'll be Dev Thadani bowling his first over of the encounter. This will be coming from the schoolhouse end in just a moment. The former Silicon Valley striker, he and his battery mate, Rahul Jadiwala, behind the stumps, both moving over from the NorCal rivals. Although I'm sure they thought they were going to be changing the hue of uniform they wore when they did that. One of the surprises this season on opening day is that the Golden State Grizzlies have shifted their colorway to one more resembling the Cal Bears, which I suppose is at least consistent in a species manner of thinking. They used to be red and gold like the Niners. Haven't seen too many Bears panning for gold. First delivery from Tadani on point. Ghani taps it to the offside for a dot.
Looking at Tadani's body of work here, he's got 32 wickets in the minor league and the economy of 7.5. His best so far has been 3 for 14. I guess his charter from his team right now would be to find a way through Usman Ghani, who's been finding the boundaries.
Yeah, certainly that first over from Sekon was very much to Ghani's liking. He's faced every delivery from this side. That one definitely gets pad, but probably going down leg. Tap to mid-wicket. No fielders in that area, so they're able to scamper the quick single. Thadani this season, best figures have been 2 for 27. He has had his struggles facing left-handers. That's the big split at the moment. 6.94 the economy against righties, 10.43 against left-handed batting. So certainly a good time to make use of him when you've got the 2 righties out there inside the power play. And as we've seen throughout, Hadi, the protection goes right back to the standard. Third man, square leg with Sujith Gowda back on strike. Scampers forward slightly, taps that, and takes advantage of the space in front of the deep man at square leg. Another single run.
Sujit Gowda has been conscious about working his way into this inning so far. We haven't seen any big shots from him. He's been taking singles around the wicket, playing with soft hands for the most part. Is Gunny back on strike right now?
Alert defending inside the circle. Ghani will scamper back. Yeah, Gowda, that's been one of the issues he's had in recent seasons, particularly last year. He was out inside the first 10 balls 6 times, a strike rate of just 70 inside the first 10 balls of an innings. Generally speaking, a kind of a slow starter. That has not been his MO the first couple of years that he was in minor league, and he's trying to get back to what got him here, but hard to complain as that one is edged back behind the leg side. Hard to argue with the results that Gowda's had so far in this season. 224 runs. And that stakes him at the moment to the 3rd leading scorer. And in fact, with the 4 he's added right now, assuming that Bhaskar Yadram hasn't added this morning, he would move into 2nd place behind Reuben Clinton, his division mate, currently idle. That one tapped and retrieved from backward point. Good quick move by the captain, Vatsal Vaghela, to grab that. And it is a sterling first over for Dev Thadani, a leg by and a single from it, otherwise 4 dots. East Bay slowing down a little bit here under some pressure from the Grizzly bowling. 23 for no loss through 4.
It's an impossible shot.
Sometimes creativity and innovation are all it takes to achieve the impossible. Yash Technologies, more than what you think.
First over coming up for Vraj Patel from the Homestead Avenue end. Righty pacer bowled in all 4 games last weekend. Had a lot of success against San Diego Surf Riders, which is impressive because most people didn't. They went 3-1 last weekend. Grizzlies were the only team that beat them. And Vraj took 3 for 29 against them. Otherwise, though, 0 for 91 in 10 overs. So looking for a little more of that San Diego bit for the man with the Bumrah-esque run-up. First delivery is a dot ball as Gowda is going to have to get himself accustomed to what he's seeing. Probably something that looks, at least in action, a little more familiar from his days in Karnataka than maybe what he's seen here stateside.
Bumrah-esque was the first thought that bounced into my mind when I saw this delivery from Virat Patel. He's definitely got that bit of exaggerated drag back of the right arm.
Yeah, the only thing he's missing is the little stutter step, as that one is to the man in the circle, Sukhwant Sekon. Yeah, he doesn't quite have the little gallop or the skippy run-up. Very almost lackadaisical on the run-up. Like, you don't see him trying to generate a ton of pace that way. It seems to be largely the arm snap that's going to do that.
I think he's got a slightly longer run-up than Jasprit Bumrah himself. He's probably got a couple of extra steps here.
That one takes the under edge. Quick attempt there, and the ball does strike the stumps a little bit late as Sundaram Subramanian will do a bit of repair on the furniture. But a nice play there behind. Would appear to be the new insertion into the lineup, Ali Raza, grabbing that one at fine leg and firing it to the stumps. 2 stumps to throw at. Very nicely done. Certainly an early signal for the Blazers. Hey, that might be a guy we don't want to run on. That one climbs up and gets the splice of the bat. 3rd man is back, so they'll have time to run a single.
Gunny trying to go back and actually pull that towards the fine leg region, but sort of got beat by pace there. It found the splice of the bat on the way back of the bat swing and dribbled to point for a single. Which probably means Virat Patel is bowling a healthy pace there. If he's getting it to climb and beat the batter there.
Well, taking edges was how he got his wickets. 2 of them were caught behinds. In one case, just a feathered edge. In the other case, kind of loopy. This time goes down leg, and Jadiwala is not going to be able to stop it. Luckily, they do have somebody back behind. So it'll just be 2 wides. Oh, did it actually get leg by? Oh, nope, 2 wides. Oh, we do have that confirmed. Yes, indeed. Leg by on the one before. Thought he got an edge. I guess perhaps forearm. If that's the case, poor Usman Ghani continues to take damage over there. Speaking of damage, that is over the top of a drawn-in mid-off. And another 4 here for Ghani, who continues to deal chiefly in boundaries.
That's the first authoritative front foot stroke in front of the wicket by either batsman. Ghani there stepping forward into the line of the ball and lofting it over covers. Authoritative boundary. Good-looking shot as well. That is his 3rd boundary. I think 2 4s and 1 6 so far by Usman Ghani.
Can confirm. Final ball of this 5th over here from Raj Patel. It's been economical with the exception of that 1 stroke. Thoughts of trying to take a quick single and retain the strike for the 6th. Nothing doing. Ghani scampers back, dot to finish. 7 runs off Patel along with the leg by. 8 from it. East Bay 31 for no loss through 5.
Even the best in the business needs a strategic partner to help them win. Yash Technologies, more than what you think.
Final over of the power play coming up, and to take you through the next handful of overs on ball by ball, turning it over to Hadi Venkataramani.
Dave Tarani to continue from the far end. He had a pretty handy economical start to this first over, just conceding 1 run there. Tarani to Gowda. Bowled for hard length. It finds the leading edge. They scamper a quick single. An errant throw being cleaned up by the mid-on fieldsman.
Yeah, it's Vatsal Vagela there with the attempted throw. It's going to go down as a leg by to start. And Thadani continuing to bamboozle them. Batters have largely struggled to take those quick singles against Thadani. Non-boundary strike rate of 44 inside the power play.
Boshed into a hard length again. This time Ghani works it to mid-on for a dot ball. Thadani has been showing a persuasion for those hard length balls, which have kept the batters quiet.
You can already see Ghani trying to make the adjustment with the feet, seeing if he can turn that into a little more of a half volley.
That's a pretty sharp observation, Joe. Yeah, he just walked a wee bit towards that one last ball. This is the last over of the power play, so the Blazers might want to give it a little tonk before the field spreads out. That was a bit of a tongue, but there's a man at the cover field who stops it. They get a quick single nonetheless.
Yeah, I think you have to be watching out for, too. If you get that ball anywhere near the wickets, Rahul Jadiwala might be the best player, certainly in the Western Division, maybe in the entire league, at making acrobatic grabs and backhanding it onto the stumps. I've seen him get a couple of remarkable wickets that way over the years. The sort of thing you might expect of a guy that plays shortstop played shortstop for his high school baseball team as well. It's a skill set that's pretty transferable there as long as you've got a glove on.
Gowda makes a bit of room to the leg side, but it didn't make enough contact there. Actually was beaten there, the dot ball. You can sense a little bit of motivation to try and find the deep here in this over. Both batters trying to either walk towards the bowler or making room and trying to swing. 3 more balls with the field spread out. Or should I say 2 more balls? Again, Gowda going for a big swing. This one seemed to find a minor inside edge, going back to the keeper. Dot ball again.
Yeah, very narrowly avoiding getting himself chopped on there. Got a good look at it from the straight-on camera. Under edge, just barely wide of leg stump.
Also, both of the last couple of deliveries haven't bounced a whole lot. They probably hit him about a feet above the ground. Oh, that one's been picked up finally. That is lofted through long off. Is it 4 or 6? I'm trying to wait for the umpire's signal. That is the first 4 for Gowda. Much needed boundary. He's been trying to find the big hit for the last couple of overs, and this one was a sweet connection.
Yeah, very nearly doubles his own scoreline. Has been very studious at one end, Ghani a little more expressive at the other throughout the power play. East Bay managed to navigate it without the loss of a wicket, 37 for no loss.
It's an impossible shot.
Sometimes creativity and innovation are all it takes to achieve the impossible. Yash Technologies, more than what you think.
First introduction of spin this morning. Vatsal Waghela brings himself on for some left-arm conventional spin bowling.
Yeah, haven't gotten to see a lot of him so far this season. Played in the opening game. Took 3 wickets, but was a little on the pricey side for him. 32 runs conceded. Was not available last weekend. It was kind of the story for a lot of the NorCal teams. All 3 of them went 2-2, and all of them were missing some very important bowler. Vaghela, Krishnamurthy for East Bay, and Netravalkar for Silicon Valley.
Oh, that one spun a fair bit. It squared Gunny up. It was angled sort of towards leg and middle, and it spun across the batter's face. Well bowled. Good start by Vatsal Waghela there. Looking at his stats, he's bagged 55 wickets so far. This time Gunny is able to go back and work it towards the deep mid-wicket region. There's a lot of protection in the deep on the leg side. Deep mid-wicket runs in to keep it to 1.
Yeah, Vaghela with 18 of those wickets last season ranked him 4th in minor league and taking them at 14 runs per. For most bowlers, I tend to look at righty-lefty splits, try and get a sense of it. One of the strangest things I've seen is when you get total symmetry. 12.7 strike rate against right-handers and against left-handers. He's equally dangerous, doesn't matter where you're standing.
This time Gowda goes low and slog sweeps it. Is that 6? That is 6. That is a monster hit. It wasn't a bad ball any stretch, but Gowda going low and finding the power and panache to slam it over wide long on. That is the first slog sweep of the day. Magnificent strike by Gowda. He moves on to 15 with that 6, and even though the power play is done, Gowda does not want to stop his big hits.
You know, it doesn't particularly matter where you put the deep fielders if you hit it 30 yards past them. My goodness.
This was bowled a tad flatter and faster. It has worked away back towards deep square leg. They have enough time to come back for 2. It's clever batting by Gowda there, following up a big boundary with a deftly placed 2 runs. That's a bit of pressure on the bowler already with a big boundary and a couple of runs.
And this is the sort of thing that the teams that have struggled with the bat so far this season, you haven't seen a lot of it. You've seen an attempt to hold the strike, bash, bash, bash. Gowda, somebody with that maturity, knows I've gotten the big one, job done for this over. Let's go ahead and rotate the strike, or keep it to myself if I can grab 2. But just continue to keep the till running.
Oh, beautifully bowled, deliciously flighted, tempting the batter forward, luring him, and just kissing, not quite kissing the outside edge, beating the outside edge. Well bowled by Vatsal Waghela. He would love to find the outside edge, though, and find a wicket for his team right now.
Yeah, he's almost getting more turn than he needs at the moment off the surface.
This time guided towards the point region by Gowda, no run. Efficient fielding by the man at point, which is the end of the 7th over. East Bay Blazers at 46 for no loss after 7, and yet another productive over.
Even the best in the business needs a strategic partner to help them win. Yash Technologies, more than what you think.
Dev Tadani is going to bowl his 3rd over on the trot from the far end.
He's got Ghani on strike here, and we've seen Usman try to make the adjustments to what has been so far a phenomenal spell for Dev.
Is that a nick? Just for a second, I thought it was a nick, but no. Ghani trying to make contact there, but the ball bouncing past the lunging bat. No run. Tadani is bowling not just hard length, it's also bowling a very tight line, 3rd or 4th stump, so it does not give the batters room to swing through on the offside. He's been the calm end amongst the chaos at the other side. This time he hits the outside edge hard, it runs towards 3rd man. It's going to be 4. It is 4. A handy 4 for Usman Ghani, not quite intended, more because the bowler's pace, heading the splice of the bat. Despite point giving chase, that was a handy 4 for East Bay Blazers as they continue to forge ahead. That brings their 50 up in just 7.2 overs. Ghani moves on to 23.
And you see right there exactly what Usman Ghani was trying to do on the ball prior. A little bit too cramped on that one this time. Tadani's line drifting just a little wider and allowing the space to make good contact.
This is bowled a lot fuller. It's guided towards the man at point, dot ball. Quick adjustment by the bowler there, preventing what's happening, what was happening in the previous ball. And in response to the previous boundary, they've actually sent 3rd man way finer and on the fence right now. So it's a pretty spread out field for Ghani. They've got 3 men, actually 2 men on the deep in the leg side right now. Ghani lines up a big, huge swing towards the leg side, but it's dribbling towards the deep mid-wicket region for only 1. Fielded on the 2nd or 3rd bounce. Sharp return back to the bowler.
Now, you've talked about that line that Tadani is bowling here. That's been the difference. The other over here from this schoolhouse end was the one bowled by Sukhwan Sekon, and he gave Ghani width, rather, and Ghani gave it the treatment. Tadani bowling much tighter, keeping them from getting their hands free, and Gowda has not been able to take advantage because he's largely been at the other end.
That was firmly struck past the bowler. Long off runs towards a straight boundary to clean it up. Good-looking drive by Gowda there, just a single.
Now they do go back and actually take a pair off of that one. Didn't look off the bat like they were going to have the time for that, but just fine enough. Long off needed a little bit of time to chase that one down, and Gowda certainly a willing runner between the wickets. That especially becomes the case in the middle overs.
This was driven through the gap on the offside. A sweeper cover runs across to his right to limit damage. It's going to be another couple of runs for Gowda. Gowda finding the 2s regularly over the last couple of overs. That's his 3rd 2 in the last 7 balls he's faced.
They finally managed to do a little bit of damage off of Dev Tadani, the 4 sort of moving the field around, loosening things up a bit, and then some good running there for a guy that has a 79 non-boundary strike rate in the middle overs. Gowda getting busy. East Bay moving to 55 for no loss through 8.
It's an impossible shot.
Sometimes creativity and innovation are all it takes to achieve the impossible. Yash Technologies, more than what you think.
Vatsal Waghela to resume proceedings from this and close to the com box. Left arm over, bowling to Gunny. Gunny goes low and heaves him, and that is a well-struck heave. It's a 6 over mid-wicket.
Yeah, Sohan Bhatt thought he was in the action for a good second or so, and then as he was preparing his leap, thought better of it. Realized it was going to be in vain.
Now, both batters, Usman Ghani and Gowda, have the slug sweep in their armory, and that's been deployed to good effect against Vatsal Waghela over the last couple of overs. 2 sixes already off him. Gunny lines up shot through the offside this time, but the ball sort of scooting under his bat there. Not a lot of bounce on that one.
Well, how do you mention the slog sweep? Gowda certainly deploys that a decent bit, but his game, especially last weekend in his bigger performances, was all about hitting to the offside. Seems like the Grizzlies are trying to deprive him of that ability.
Another swing towards the leg side. This one is going to be tracked and taken adeptly by the fielder at deep square leg. Excellent wicket there. Much needed wicket for the Grizzlies. I am trying to look at the fielder's name.
It might be Ali Raza as I'm trying to look, because I thought for a moment Dev Thadani, but he's not tall enough. I believe it's the new man into the team today for his debut, taking that catch at just a little bit forward of square leg. We'll get confirmation of that in a moment on the scorecard, but the substance of it is that Usman Ghani, a very productive day and a very studied and then a bit more explosive opening partnership have both come to 61 for 1. Ghani departs with 30.
The ball had a decent bit of airtime. The fielder deep square leg had to track it, run maybe a few yards to his left, and he kept his eyes on the ball and eventually took a tumbling completion. Much needed breakthrough for the Grizzlies, and a bit of reward for Vatsal Waghela with his field set as well. He's been protecting the deep boundaries with mid wickets and square leg on the fence. Now the question for Grizzlies is, can they also get rid of the other set batter? They finally found one breakthrough. They'd love to make it 2.
Oh, we do have confirmation it was Dev Thadani, so my apologies. I don't know. Apparently the camera... no? Right, but I thought he was too short. So apparently Dev Thadani on that catch as opposed to Ali Raza.
Which means Sanjay Krishnamurthy, the skipper, walks into the middle at number 3 for the Blazers.
And out of the frying pan and into the fire for the Golden State Grizzlies. Sanjay, of course...
that was bowled quite wide and promptly signaled by the umpire.
But Sanjay, of course, a big name in MLC this past season. Who can forget that 79 not out off 42 against Washington Freedom, dealing the champions their only loss.
This time, there's a bit of turn to elude the outside edge. Sanjay trying to defend that one, but making no contact.
Captain versus captain here. He nearly duplicated that line, by the way, 74 off 42 over the course of his 2 innings so far this season in MILC.
This time sort of chopped towards the first slip region, not a huge chunk of that. Sanjay not quite wanting to smash that one. Bowled a tad flatter, but down the leg side, Sanjay goes back and works it towards the fine leg region. It's only going to be 1. There's a fine leg running back to cut it off, which means it's the end of Vatsal Waghela's second over. Blazers 63 for 1. Waghela finishes with 17 for 1 after his 2 overs.
Even the best in the business needs a strategic partner to help them win. Yash Technologies, more than what you think.
Sohan Bhatt is readying up to bowl from the schoolhouse end. He bowls right arm medium. I think he's going to bowl. Looks to be bowling. Oh, is that Sohan Butt really?
Well, that is indeed Sohan Butt, left arm orthodox bowler, 23-year-old. Has seen a bit more action this season than last with ball in hand, as that one's shot through the covers.
Spin did the damage for Grizzlies on this end. They would love for some more damage from another left arm spinner right now.
Continues to be a righty-righty pairing here for the East Bay Blazers. Not a ton of left-handed batting on this team.
Gowda goes forward and drives it straight down the ground. They are thinking about two, but wisely deciding to stick with one. There's a huge gap between a wide long on and a long off, which allows the batters to almost always think of two when they hit the ball straight down the ground.
Well observed here, and especially if you throw it off in toward sweeper cover, there's a lot of space out there as well.
That one bowled a little faster and turning across the outside edge. A dot ball to Sanjay Krishnamurthy.
Yeah, Bott took 2 wickets against LA, and that variation of pace and flight, a really big part of how he bamboozles folks. Doesn't get the extravagant turn of a Vagella, but that'll get you bamboozled just as easily.
This time it has worked towards the deep mid-wicket region by Sanjay for a single. And like you mentioned, there's a distinct preference for slightly faster bowling by this left-arm spinner compared to the previous left-arm spinner. But likes to bowl it a shade flatter and faster to limit the amount of time the batters have to go back and swing it. That's in the air. It was off a leading edge. Long off runs around. Is that kept inside? Oh no, it is dribbled through the fence for 4. It didn't seem to be middled by the batter there. Sujit Gowda getting probably his 3rd boundary there.
Believe that is, yeah, indeed, number 3. He's got a second 4 to go along with the maximum earlier. And you were just talking, Huddy, about the gap that was there between a rather wide-ish long on, and they pulled long off even closer to being straight behind the bowler for, I think, that reason, and it left acres of space for that ball to roll and slice out for the 4.
And the gap is in business again. The man at wide sweeper cover running to his right to limit that to, that is 1.
I know, they pick up a pair off of that one, and that's going to be 9 off of Bott's first over.
Blazers finish with 72 for 1 after 10 overs as we stop for drinks.
The captain is going to continue for a 3rd over on the trot from the Homestead Avenue end. First delivery is fired just barely wide of the deep cover fielder, and that's going to be a 4 on the first delivery. Sanjay Krishnamurthy frees the arms and has his first boundary stroke.
Nobody moved after that shot. It took better to reach the fence. That was struck super firmly. First boundary for Sanjay.
Another one, again, same gap, a little bit finer, but I mean, I'll say that both for positioning and for quality, a little bit finer. That was absolutely hammered.
This time the fielder had shot extra cover for a couple of seconds, might have fancied getting in the way, but he might have been happy that he didn't get in the way eventually, because it was also fiercely struck by Sanjay over in the covers region.
Yeah, I might have taken off a finger. Krishnamurthy, not an uncommon thing for him to start with a few dots, very studious on the beginning, and then suddenly spring to life. I remember a game last year where he was not off of 11, and then before you knew it, was suddenly at a run a ball.
That was sort of a defensive play there. I don't think it found the bat. A pretty handy dot ball for Vatsal Vagela. He's been going for some runs right now. He's got conceded 25 of his 2.3 so far. Although he's got an important wicket. This is bowled a bit flatter, shorter, and faster. Sanjay going back and trying to pull it, making no contact. Dot ball again.
Yeah, Vagela electing to pull this one in towards the body after, having some rough experience with the deliveries with a bit more width.
This time he goes back and punches it towards the sweeper cover region. There's a man running across to limit the damage. It's 2 runs, 2 well-run runs. Good return from the deep there.
Now, very nice. Certainly gave Jadiwala a chance potentially if it had been a little bit quicker in arriving. But Krishnamurthy continues the acceleration here against Vagela. Weathered a pair of good-looking deliveries, particularly that third ball. Is right back to firing it into the outfield.
This time bowled a little shorter and down the leg side. Sanjay goes down and sort of paddles it towards the fine leg region for 1. It's been runs around the wicket during this over. That is the end of the 11th over. Blazers finish with 83 for 1.
It's an impossible shot.
Sometimes creativity and innovation are all it takes to achieve the impossible. Yash Technologies, more than what you think.
Second wicket partnership already, 22 runs recorded off of 15 deliveries. Sohan Bhatt will continue to try to break that partnership. Double barrel lefty spin from both sides of the ground, as that one's going to be a single on the first ball, just wide of the man at cover. Bhatt's first over, a little on the pricey side. Started well enough. 3 singles and a dot, but then a 4 and a 2 to finish it off. Sujith Gowda will take back the strike. 28 so far for him. 2 4s, a 6. Haven't yet seen him expressive like he was in Southern California. Maybe looking for it there as he moves the feet, throws the pull shot, finds some space. Thought briefly about a second run, thought better of it. And he'll give the strike back to his ascendant captain.
Another sharp throw from the deep there. I don't quite see who the fielder is, but it's probably the same fielder from last over.
Bhatt working quickly. Krishnamurthy will, he'll give him a little more running to do out there in the deep. Flicks that towards square leg. And it is Tarunadada out there, the number 8, patrolling in that vicinity. Deep protection at the moment, all in front of Sanjay Krishnamurthy, with the exception of the man at backward square. Long on, long off, sweeper cover, and mid-wicket. And looking to go over the top is Gowda, and Adada does not move, and he would be the one with the best gauge of where that ball was headed. Answer, 20 yards beyond the rope. Another maximum here, second of the game for Sujith Gowda.
Gowda's been peppering the leg side with 6s. That is his second shot of a left-arm spinner for 6. This time it was a slightly shorter ball. Gowda rocking onto the back foot and having enough time to pull it handsomely over the mid-wicket region. Blazers moved to 92 for 1 with that 6. And Gowda moves to 35 of 27. He's finding a bit of momentum right now, we could say.
And left-arm orthodox spin has not been his favorite thing so far this season. He'd prefer a leggy based on stats so far this year, but you wouldn't know it based on that last stroke.
That is a good riposte from the bowler there. He bowled it a little quicker, more testing line. Gowda just leaving that one. Handy dot ball.
Bhatt getting through the over quickly here. He'll look to put a rubber stamp on over number 12 and try to end it happily. Gowda drags that one to the area between mid-wicket and long on. Adada has been busy this over. Limits that to a single, but it is 10 from Sohan Bhatt's over. Gave up 9 in his first, 10 from his second. East Bay, 93 for 1 through 12.
Even the best in the business needs a strategic partner to help them win. Yash Technologies, more than what you think.
12 overs done and dusted here in this first innings. First of two games today from Santa Clara Cricket Ground. East Bay sitting at 93 for 1. They know today that if they win both of these games, they are headed to Dallas for a spot in the Super 8s for a second year running. Grizzlies need to win them both to keep their hopes alive. It'll be Suquan Sekon taking over the ball here for over number 13. Change of ends for him as he bowled the first over from the schoolhouse end today. It didn't go so well, so looking for better from this side. Conceded a 4, a 6, a couple of byes and a wide in that one as Usman Ghani gave him headaches. Doesn't have to deal with Ghani anymore. That one run to the offside for a single.
Which brings Sanjay Krishnamurthy back on strike. He's moved to 16 of 14. Both batters finding a fair bit of momentum in the last couple of overs. From a Grizzlies perspective, they would love for some more strikes. Their left-arm spinners have traveled for a few runs in the last few overs, despite that one wicket of Gunny. That is bashed into a length, patted into the offside by Sanjay. Dot ball. We've got a lot of players named S in the middle right now. Sanjay Krishnamurthy and Sujit Gowda with the bat. Suquan Sekon and Sohan Butt in the mix with the ball. It's a lot of yeses in the middle right now at Santa Clara Cricket Field on a Saturday morning. Oh, that is launched towards the deep cover region, but stopped handily by the man at sweeper cover. Just one run. Beautiful strike by Sanjay, but efficiently fielded in the deep. East Bay Blazers moved to 95 for 1 of that single.
Yeah, perhaps the surprise is that we don't have Seattle, San Diego, or Silicon Valley involved in this one, given all of that. This one run to the offside, a little more Gowda's style. They'll take another single, and with that single, Sujit Gowda moves into a tie, as far as we know, with Reuben Clinton atop the scoring list in minor league cricket at 262 runs. We're also going to see number 5 and 6 on that scoring list, likely opening the batting for Golden State later, as that one evades the bat of the Blazer captain.
Sanjay Krishnamurthy trying to shape for a cut shot there, but that one seemed to go just over his bat. Suquan Sekon has been quite tidy this over, 3 singles of 5 balls. This has been a rare quiet over the last 15-20 minutes. He'd love to finish strong.
Last ball from the lefty pacer. That's going to pop up on Jadiwala. Brief thoughts of trying to take a bye, but nothing doing. It'll be Gowda on strike when we come back for over number 14. A nice one there from Sekon. Just 3 off of it. East Bay, 96 for 1.
It's an impossible shot.
Sometimes creativity and innovation are all it takes to achieve the impossible. Yash Technologies, more than what you think.
Another change of ends here for the Golden State Grizzlies is Vraj Patel, who bowled his first over back in the power play from the Homestead Avenue end, will bring his righty pace and his Bumrah-esque run-up in from the schoolhouse end now, and he'll be taking on Sujit Gowda in just a moment, the new joint leading scorer in minor league.
What the Grizzlies would want is not just Bumrah's action right now. They'd want Bumrah's wickets. Bumrah's been taking some wickets as we speak in the ongoing test match between India and Bangladesh and Chennai over the last couple of days. Viraj Patel to Sujit Gowda. That is bowled down the leg side. Acrobatic save by the keeper, Jariwala again, a wide.
Yeah, I thought for a moment it might have gotten a piece of glove, perhaps flicking the forearm on the way through there. And you talk about Bumrah and his late wickets. Fond memories for me, the experience of watching at the San Francisco Unicorns party down at Ohlone College in Fremont that was hosted to watch the World Cup final, and Bumrah coming in there just a little bit before the death and knocking over a procession of South African wickets. And oh, goodness gracious, speaking of knocking over, that ball is hoiked and on its way over the rope just past a wide long on. Sujith Gowda takes command of that runs table with another maximum.
That Sujith Gowda's third six, but his first six at an area that is not mid-wicket. This time he targeted the long on region, pressing forward and lifting that effortlessly for handy six. East Bay Blazers bring their 100 up with that strike. They move to 103 for 1.
And this is very much the East Bay Blazers that we remember from last year. Long partnerships up top. Oh, looking for a little bit more, and he's going to try to bring up his 50 in style. The only question is, did it get over on the fly? Awaiting the signal from Sundaram Subramanian. And he has signaled a 4, so a little bit premature on signaling the 50. He's still got 2 to go. I do hope I have not jinxed him. If I didn't, then I'll feel better. If I did, then I'll feel powerful.
If you did, the Grizzlies would thank you.
Without doubt. I am a Cal grad, after all. I've got some clothes, those colors. I don't have one of their jerseys yet, though. Got the other 2 NorCal teams. Put in a call to Omid or Nirav.
Patted into the covers for a quick single there. A bit of change of gears there. After a couple of big strikes this time, a quick single by Gowda. He moves to 49 of just 34 balls. It's been a sterling innings so far. He was sort of cautious in the first 3 or 4 overs when Usman Ghani was finding the boundary. He was intent on finding singles around the wicket. And over the last 7 overs or so, he's opened up and he's punished the spinners and has punished the pacers as well right now. Krishnamurthy on strike. Just bowled down the leg side, head towards square leg for a quick single.
Well, and to your point, Hadi, just Sujith is somebody who absolutely understands his role, not just in a team, but in a partnership at every moment as an innings progresses. And you see the guy with the expressiveness, the guy who's seeing the ball a little bit better. You just take care to lock down your end. Make sure you feed him the strike for a little bit. And now he's getting a chance against the kinds of bowlers that he feasts on. And he's really starting to push the pace a bit here. He's on strike right now, looking for an important run.
That is bowled quite well by Viraj Patel there. Bashed into a harder length, cramping the batter for room, just defended into the covers for a dot ball. A rare dot ball, I must add.
Yeah, these last few overs, particularly from this end of the ground, there have been, that is the 5th dot ball in the last 4 overs bowled from the schoolhouse end. Blazers are seeing it very well, even against that off-white background.
This time, the bowler almost got a hand to it. It popped off towards the silly mid-on region. They actually have enough time to come back for 2 as long on runs in and cuts it off, which means Gowda brings up his 50. He moves on to 51 of just 36 balls. That's been a splendid innings. It's been a chilly morning, but he's been lighting up with a very toasty innings. A lot of boundaries around the ground, and he's really got the Blazers off to a terrific start here. 111 for 1 after 14 overs.
$14 overs gone. Nelson for 1. East Bay at 111 for 1. Along with Gowda's 50, that actually brings up the 50 partnership between him and Sanjay Krishnamurthy, as Sanjay came out at 61 for 1. They'll look to take on Adnesh Tondale, who has been economical so far, just 8 conceded off of his 2 overs in the power play. There were a couple of wides among those, along with a few singles. But by and large, he's been tough for the East Bay Blazers to square up.
Joe, you mentioned 50 partnerships. Sanjay's got 18 of those runs so far, which means Sujit Gowda has been feasting off the bowlers in the last half an hour or so. He's got 30-plus runs of this partnership. And Sanjay is on strike right now to Tondale.
Yeah, Tondale bowling from the same end that he has for his first 2, this Homestead Avenue end. We've seen Vatsal Vagela mixing up the approach angles from his various bowlers, Sekon and Raj Patel switching sides. This one worked here to the offside. Not solid contact from Krishnamurthy, but enough to scamper the single. East Bay, at the very least, managing to avoid the curse of the Nelson, the tendency to lose wickets at that 111 mark. Seem to be having a little bit of issues with the scorecard at the moment, so we'll keep you updated here as we go live. 112 for 1 at the moment, 1 ball in. Tondale getting ready to rumble in here for the second ball of this over. Bit of a shorter length on that one, and it jumps up, evades the bat of Gowda.
Looking at the field now, Tondale has got what appears to be a 4-5 field, or is that mid-off? Okay, it's a 5-4 field, 5 on the offside. There's a man at sweeper cover, there's a man at long off, and there's a long on, a deep mid-wicket, and a deep square leg. So there's a fair bit of protection around the ground, and they need all the protection because Gowda has been finding a lot of boundaries. This time, speaking of boundaries, he's launched it in the air, but long off runs hard to his left and forwards, but that one eventually safe. They have enough time to come back for its 2.
Yeah, just barely managing to find the no man's land between Taruna Dada, the man at sweeper cover, and the fielder just in front of our comms position here at long off, the debutant Ali Raza. It was Raza who was sprinting in, just barely did not have enough petrol in the tank to get to that. That one under the bat looks like it may well have stayed down. They'll look to take the bye. The throw coming from fine leg does not find the woodwork, and they take the single bye.
Jariwala did quite well to intercept that one, but he appears to be in some pain. Did find his wrist? Did he hurt his knee or something?
He's been throwing himself around left and right throughout this. Seems to be back and ready to go. Puts a hand up and says, no, I don't need a substitute. I think we saw Manav Nayak, the number 65, popping off the bench in the event that they were going to need to hand the gloves off to someone else. We do have a functional scorecard as Tondale comes in. This one's in the air. Raza on the run, but it's going to get over on the fly, at least from our view. And a 6 here off the bat of Sanjay Krishnamurthy.
Sanjay Krishnamurthy continuing to pulverize the cover region. He got 2 fours with the left-arm spinner a couple of hours back in that exact same region. Now he's opening his shoulders up to the pacer and finding another boundary. Oh, actually a 6, rather. This is a productive region for him.
Well, certainly feasts on width, and you get the sense with that 5-4 field that Golden State thinking about providing more of it. Maybe a double bluff. This time they come up and in on Krishnamurthy, and he deposits that one in front of square leg over on a couple of bounces.
This one was bowled shorter, but did not quite have the pace to trouble Sanjay. He had enough time to go back and nail a pull through the mid-wicket region. So he's sort of finding the mirror image slot on the other side now, either peppering the cover fence or the deep mid-wicket fence.
Well, it's one of the things I love about just following cricket fielding and the information it gives the batter. You see a field that indicates you might get more width. You try to double bluff him. Sanjay, too smart for that, ready for it. destroys it. 10 off the last 2 of that over. East Bay Blazers 15 done, 125 for 1.
Even the best in the business needs a strategic partner to help them win. Yash Technologies, more than what you think.
Sujit Gowda. We are into the last 5 overs of the innings, so the Blazers would love to continue blazing now with even more intensity. Gowda goes back and punches it into the deep cover region. Sweeper cover cuts it off. It's going to be a single.
One of Vagella's virtues last season was that he was very dangerous at the death, and particularly always dangerous in his final over of a spell, but had a strike rate of 6.0 last season, 9 overs bowled, 9 wickets taken, as Krishnamurthy bats that one towards square leg, vacant area for a single.
They've got pretty much the same field for both batters at this stage. Vagela having 3 men in the deep on the leg side and the sweeper and the long off on the off. Sujit Gowda back on strike.
Does have 2 men behind on the offside inside the circle.
Goes to pull this, finds the leading edge. There's a man running in and it's been completed. That is actually a very sharp take by the man fielding at point. He was running towards cover. I'm trying to find who the fielder is.
Sohan Bhatt on that. Brilliantly done. Circling around. We mentioned the 2 fielders that were back behind point. And he was the one at a short backward point position and had to cover quite a bit of ground to get that. A brilliant little diving grab. And we mentioned before, Vagela last season, 9 overs bowled to the death, 9 wickets. Well, here's 1 and 1. To get things started here in the final 5 overs of this first innings.
And it's not just any wicket, it's the wicket of Sujit Gowda, who departs for an extremely handy 50-plus score. He's set the Blazers up for a flourish at the death right now as he walks away to some applause from his dugout.
54 off of 41 deliveries, 3 4s, 3 6s for Gowda. Fantastic innings, his 3rd half-century of this season already. Was responsible for a 51 on opening day when the Blazers knocked off the Silicon Valley Strikers. Had his struggles in the rematch with the Strikers on this ground. Just went at a run a ball and scored 27 before being dismissed. Followed that up with a 94, a 34, but then an 8 and a 10 in the last 2 games down in L.A. Back to his proper form here as Vikash Mohan will be delighted to have had his entry delayed to this point. In fact, maybe even something of a promotion up the order for this finisher, just simply because the first 2 partnerships lasted so very long. 61 for the first wicket, 66 for the second.
Looking through Vikash Mohan's stats, his highest score is 46. He has scored more than 500 runs. He strikes at 120 plus, so he'd love to find some immediate impact right now. He gets off the mark with a single, worked into the vacant mid-wicket region for 1.
Mohan, an interesting season last year. He was deployed as a new opener in the absence of Saideep Ganesh throughout most of the first half of the season. Subsequently got a chance to do what he did in 2022 and finish with those flourishes. Had a 170 strike rate in the death overs last year as Krishnamurthy lifts this one in the air, but it will fall short of long on.
This might have found a slightly higher part of the bat than intended, so it got a bit more height than distance. But luckily for Sanjay there, it didn't have enough legs to reach the long-on fielder.
Sometimes it works out.
Batted back into the short cover region. The bowler runs in to cut it off. It's the end of the 16th over. 129 for 2 by
It's an impossible shot.
Sometimes creativity and innovation are all it takes to achieve the impossible. Yash Technologies, more than what you think.
The reflection here sometimes makes this murky.
Turn it whichever way you need to while you're the one on com.
Sukhwant second to begin proceedings from the Homestead Avenue end. He's bowled 2 overs for 14, which is actually a pretty possible economy rate for this game so far, 7 runs and over. Sanjay Krishnamurthy taking strike. He's at 31 of 24 right now, and he would be looking to really up the ante now that we are into the last 4 overs of this Blazers innings.
Yeah, Sekon had 2 overs ago. Took the ball from this Homestead Avenue end for the first time. Just gave up 3 runs in that over. That after getting whacked about a little bit during the power play from the schoolhouse end.
That is bowled a little bit shorter. Might have hit the batsman on the body or the upper part of the bat. Dot ball.
Yeah, I think Krishnamurthy hit that one into the ground and then off of his own body after that. Looked like a bit of a pace-off delivery from Sekon, at the very least, compared to what Sanjay was expecting. Threw that shot very early.
Here we go again, sweeper cover in business, but this time it's right to the fielder, a single.
Well, that's what happens when you read the scouting report. Ali Raza now positioned at exactly the spot that Sanjay has been targeting. As you mentioned a couple overs ago, I think 3-4 shots he's had directly in that spot. And it's been splitting fielders. Now they've got him a great deal further forward in that cover position. And even still have that protection at long off.
Vikash Mohan takes a strike. That is sort of slapped through the point region, just 1 run there.
Well, Sukhwant continues to do good work, just keeping this ball a bit out of the arc of these players. Has not given up a boundary since he restarted his spell from this end late in the piece. Big difference from what Usman Ghani was doing to him in that power play over.
This time punched into the offside for 1 is a very sharp throw from the point fielder, which gives them the opportunity to run an overthrow.
Yeah, just not quick enough on the backup. The moment that ball hits out there, you really need the man at long on to be sprinting in and ready to potentially close down that angle. A little lackadaisical getting in position for that, and that lets them take the extra.
This time Sanjay tries to blaze that to long on, but did not quite middle it. It dribbles to long on for 1. Again, pretty handy bowling by Sukhwant Sekon, not quite allowing the batters to middle any big shots so far.
Exactly the kind of spell they need, having him from one end of Agela in that last over, closing out at 2 for 32. Keeping things under control, though, here in the death overs.
Vikash Mohan picks us up towards long off. Long off is in business, and he does the business. Number 16.
That's Vraj Patel taking the catch here at long off. Right down his throat this time around. Not to it, but to just get the hands in the right place and secure it. Didn't need to really make any ground, maybe 2 steps forward.
So it's a period of a mini comeback for the Grizzlies right on the last couple of overs. Not too many boundaries, and now a second wicket in the last 2-3 overs. So Vikash Mohan departs for a couple of runs, 2 of 4 balls, and Sekon gets a much-deserved wicket.
And that will end over number 17, and we'll tell you about the new batter when we come back from a break. Concerned about spotting the fielder, just leave space for me to jump in and do that, because that seems to be something that I'm more comfortable with. I know you want it, You'll find it as you go. But yeah, just go ahead and keep calling it by the name there, and I'll identify him when I pop out.
I'll just call the position perhaps, long off.
Yeah,
Then you can chime in.
That works.
So you spot him from this location, or you look at the number and then
I'm
map,
looking
map
at the number.
and then map it back?
I know the numbers, so yeah. We'll go over the team list if you want to kind of organize that better for you. Yes, they don't always put it in a good order.
Yeah. I had actually feel for jerseys here, but I didn't find the jersey info online. Maybe I didn't put that.
No, jerseys are online.
Yes, okay, yeah, you have to be lovely.
Dev.
Yeah, get Tarani bowling from the schoolhouse end. That is hit towards deep square leg for a couple of runs by Sanjay.
Throw goes back to Dev's end as they look to take the quick 2 here. It's Abhishek Paradkar in currently at the non-striker's end as they take the pair. He'll be the new batter in at 5. After Vikash Mohan went cheaply, we talked about the first 2 partnerships going for 61 and 66. Third wicket partnership, just 7. A little bit of economy, and then a little bit of wicket taking. Water in the desert at the moment for these Golden State Grizzlies as they try to keep this total chaseable.
Krishnamurti muscles this over the mid-wicket region for a monstrous 6.
Chase that. My goodness. Couple of bounces into a goal, which gives me different impulses, given that that's the other sport I do.
That is struck so handsomely, it cleared the boundary by at least 15 yards. Krishnamurti moves on to 43 of 30 balls.
Thadani very economical in his opening spell. He bowled 3 on the trot from the schoolhouse end. Just gave up a pair of boundary strokes.
Much fuller, handy adjustment by Thadani there. A sharp single and a bit of efficient backing up by the bowler himself. Good cricket all round there. Thadani responding to that pull shot by pulling his length forward, and Sanjay working it into the offside for a single, and the fielder taking a shy. And Thadani athletic enough to stop that one to save an extra overthrow. Good cricket all round.
And that'll bring Paradkar on strike for his first ball faced of this encounter. Abhishek starting to get a bit more in the way of trust from his captain, Sanjay, out there batting with him. He's been putting together a few decent innings so far, batting and striking rather at exactly 100 so far, but went for 24, 18, and 20 in 3 consecutive innings to start the LA trip.
Paradkar works it into the offside for a quick single. He's off the mark. Tidy work, getting the set batter back on strike.
We saw Gowda try to bring up his 50 with a 6 earlier. Missed it by about 1 Wheatie at breakfast. Maybe a foot shy of the boundary rope. We'll see if Sanjay has similar ideas here at 44 from 31. We certainly know he's got the power to spare for that.
Again, hoisted over the leg side. You called it, Joe. That is a 6 over square leg, and that is a spectacular way to bring up a 50 by Sanjay Krishnamurti. He moves to 50 of just 32 balls. It's been a splendid innings, resplendent, full of boundaries, especially on the cover region and the square leg region. As Blazers move to 150 for 3 in the 18th.
You know, he said to Nate Hayes during an interview for the MILC draft that he was now focused on process over results from his work with Shane Watson in the Unicorns camp. The nice thing about focusing on process over results is it tends to bear results. And you're seeing it right here. Second half century in 3 innings so far this season in MILC.
This is muscled over the bowler, actually. A long off runs hard to keep it to a couple of runs.
He had 2 6s in that over, and I think that was the hardest he struck a ball the entire time there against Thadani. Any closer to Thadani's head, and I think we'd be smelling singed hair over here.
Even the best in the business needs a strategic partner to help them win. Yash Technologies, more than what you think.
Second to bowl the penultimate over. Paratkar faces up. This one was bowled down the leg side. It is a wide. It is a wide.
Sunil Singh taking his time, letting us know about that. But Sekon is going to finish off his spell. This is the side of the ground he's had a great deal more success from. Went for 11 in his first over of work, a wide and 2 balls that made it to the boundary.
Oh, this time Paratkar makes a pretty chunky connection. That is 1 bounce into the fence for 4. First boundary for Paratkar.
And first one off of Sekon in quite a while. He had gone for just 8 runs and taken a wicket off of his last 2 overs. All singles besides 1 double. That's more like over number 1.
Particularly a bad ball. He just missed his length by probably a couple of inches, bowling a little full, and Paratkar equal to the task. This time bowled into the wicket. Paratkar works it into the offside for 1.
We often talk about the set batter and the new batter, but Paratkar so far, that's been kind of the hallmark for him, as he's seeing the ball very well right from the get-go. So you're pretty much happy whoever you've got on strike right now. Sekon with a bit of a puzzle to solve at the moment.
Again, a bit of change of pace, but Sanjay has found the power. Long on makes an acrobatic effort to stop it, but it's cleared him for yet another 6 by Sanjay. Sanjay is really raining boundaries on Grizzlies right now. He moves on to 58 of just 34 balls.
Your new high scorer in the innings, and you'd have to imagine with only 9 balls left in it, he'll probably hold on to that title through the end. That was an emotional journey watching Adnesh Tondale.
Sam goes for a big drive over long off, but makes no contact. Keeper Jaribala making yet another acrobatic save. He's been super tidy and busy behind the wicket.
I was starting to say that it was an emotional journey watching Tondale track that, because there was a moment off the bat where I thought there's no way that's staying in the park. And then he seemed to have it tracked for a split second before realizing it was a good 2 or 3 feet higher than he thought. You can hear the effort from here of Sukhwant Sekon trying to blast that by the defenses of the Blazers' young captain.
Oh, yet another muscular hit over the wide long on region by Sanjay. This is turning out to be a masterclass by Sanjay Krishnamurthy. He moves on to 64 with a magnificent strike as Blazers move on to 171 for 3. We are still in the penultimate over. 1 more ball to go.
Somebody needs to tell the soccer players over there to keep their head on a swivel. There was no emotional journey on that one. Tondale did not move. Absolutely destroyed by Sanjay Krishnamurthy. My goodness gracious.
This time powered straight down the ground. Long off runs around, hoping to limit it to 1, but it's 2. Eventually, Paratkar runs back quick enough to complete the 2. Handy running. 2 runs, which means Blazers finish at 171 for 3 after 19. 173 for 3 after 19.
It's an impossible shot.
Sometimes, creativity and innovation are all it takes to achieve the impossible. Yash Technologies, more than what you think.
Viraj Patel to bowl the last over from the schoolhouse end, a pretty critical over. Can he limit the damage? Paratkar to take strike.
Little surprising they took the 2 on the last ball. Would have thought Sanjay would want to keep the strike the way he's been hitting.
A big swing towards the leg side by Paratkar. No contact this time. Handy dot ball. Dot balls are liquid gold right now for the Grizzlies.
Patel, in particular, looking to limit the damage. We mentioned the 3 wickets for 26 that he took, or rather 29 against San Diego Surf Riders. In his other overs so far this season, he's got an economy just a shade over 10, looking to limit it here.
Bowled a little wide of off stump, patted into the covers for 1, which brings Sanjay Krishnamurthy back on strike.
It's interesting. That almost felt like an auditory deke out by Viraj, because he let out this grunt of effort, and yet I'm pretty sure that was off pace. And I almost think it bamboozled Paratkar just a little bit, thinking that thing was going to come in harder than it did just from that sound.
Oh, Sanjay Krishnamurthy continues his merry ways. Long on is in. Oh, long on was in action for a couple of seconds. It burst through his hands there. Is it going to be 4 or 6? I'm waiting for the umpire's signal. It is 4. That was a definite chance there. For more runs, some more agony for Grizzlies. Sanjay moves on to 70 of 38 balls. Getting a little bit of luck there, but he's had a lot of power and muscle and timing all innings. It's earned a little bit of luck there, I guess.
Yeah, Tano Nadada will be unhappy with the result of that effort. The import from St. Louis, unable to hold on.
Oh, this time shorter. Krishnamurthy rocks back and pulls with panache over deep square leg for yet another 6. The square leg region is getting pulverized over the last 10 minutes by Krishnamurthy.
Well, you remember when he was batting from the other end, this is extra cover, and that's where he'd been hitting all of his 4s and 6s. Now he's just going to do it from this end instead. Just hook it behind himself. No problem. Same spot. I like that spot.
Sanjay Krishnamurthy moves on to 76 of 39 balls. He's got a couple of more balls to inflict some more damage. And Viraj Patel limit the damage. Driven off the front foot towards the man of sweeper cover. Just 1. Oh, they're pushing for 2. They're pushing for 2. Are they? No. Change his mind at the last minute. It's only a single eventually.
Looks like that will land Krishnamurthy at 77, barring any illegal deliveries. Last season, he had the 8th highest score in minor league cricket, an 84 off 52 that came against these Golden State Grizzlies. So probably the worst news for Golden State right now is that they're going to have to deal with him for another innings at some point today.
Last ball coming up. Oh, Paratkar joins the party this time. He's lofted it over wide long on. It is a magnificent 6 and a magnificent way to finish what's been a blazing innings by the Blazers. Blazers finished their 20 overs at 191 for 3. That is a towering innings. Paratkar finishing with 13, and more importantly, Sanjay Krishnamurthy headlining with 77 of 40 balls. It's been a flourish by the Blazers at the death. I'll pass it to Joe to summarize the innings.
I mean, how with Gowda, Ghani, Krishnamurthy, Vikash Mohan, how does Paratkar wind up with the ball with the best sound of the entire innings? That was an absolute cannon shot to finish things off. My word, yeah, 13 off 6 for him, a 4 and a 6. Continues to show himself to be someone becoming a bona fide all-rounder in this league at this point. Currently looking at the Golden State Grizzlies card. I think we need the other one. Need the Blazers batting card. We'll start talking about it. We'll get the graphic up in a moment. But Gowda, the early work alongside Usman Ghani, 2 of them partnered for 61 runs for the first wicket. Gowda starting out very slow. Ghani a bit more swashbuckling at the beginning, right, Hari? Quite an impressive innings from Ghani, albeit one of the shorter ones of his team.
That is quite an expertly paced innings by both openers. Ghani finding his mojo early on, and Gowda content to play second fiddle for the first 4 to 5 overs. And then once Ghani departed, Gowda took center stage while Sanjay was working his way through his innings. So it was very clever awareness by the whole group of batters, a very clinical performance in the end.
No, absolutely. That Gowda Krishnamurthy performance, that partnership for the second wicket went for 66, highest one of the innings. The only real stumble the entire time was there was a chunk of overs bowled by Sukhwan Sekon and Vatsal Vagela, seemed to pull things back a little bit. They took the wicket of Gowda, followed that up with the wicket of Vikash Mohan for just 2 runs, and then Abhishek Paradkar came out, and just like you were saying, Ghani stars, Gowda holds it down. Then Gowda stars, Krishnamurthy holds it down. Paradkar comes out, provides the support, and Krishnamurthy just loses his mind for about 3 overs.
And Krishnamurthy loses his mind in one specific area of the ground when he was batting from the far end towards the schoolhouse end. He was polarizing the cover drives at the sweeper cover region, 3 boundaries in that region. And when he was batting at the Homestead Avenue end, he loved the same spot. Although this time it's the pull shot in business. A lot of handsome sixes over deep square leg. So it's been a boundary-laden first innings by Krishnamurthy and Blazers. Looking through the scorecard, Krishnamurthy had not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, 6 of them sixes, finishing with a strike rate of 192. That is a lofty innings, which means Grizzlies have a pretty ominous task of trying to chase 192 runs on this pretty pleasant day here at Santa Clara.
Yeah, we mentioned the par score, I think we said at the beginning, was somewhere just north of 100, given what we'd seen in recent days in Santa Clara. Certainly an outfield that seems more conducive to the ball rolling through and picking up 4s. And of course, they were coming from all parts and against all comers. I think the best economy we see here on the bowling card is a 7 for Adnesh Tondale. Everybody else in excess of 8. Just the 2 wickets there from Vagela and 1 from Sukhwan Sekon. A bit of work, as we said, in the middle late overs, trying to pull things back. But Krishnamurthy said, "You will pull nothing back. You will go chase the ball that I have lobbed over that same spot." I'm glad it's very close to where we're set up. Like, we could have very easily been getting pelted by Krishnamurthy if we were about 15 yards further to the left. So we will go ahead and call it there. The target set for the Golden State Grizzlies to keep their playoff hopes, and for that matter, those of the Silicon Valley Strikers and LA Lashings alive, is 192. We'll be back in about 15 to bring you that chase. In from the schoolhouse end with the first delivery, left arm over the wicket, and that one is shot through a gap just behind point and on its way to the boundary. And as you heard from, was beaten up a little bit against Seattle. That one is in the air and well clear of Dev Tadani, the deep man at deep point over there. Speaking of damage, that is over the top of a drawn-in mid-off.
Oh, that one's been picked up finally. That is lofted.
Where you're standing.
This time Gowda goes low and slog sweeps it. Is that 6? This time he hits the outside edge hard. It runs towards third man. It's going to be 4. It is 4. Bowling to Ghani. Ghani goes low and heaves him, and that is
offside. Seems like the Grizzlies are trying to deprive him of that ability.
Another swing towards the leg side. This one is going to be tracked and taken adeptly by the fielder at deep square leg. Oh, that's in the air. It was off a leading edge.
On the trot from the Homestead Avenue end. First delivery is fired just barely. Another one again, same gap, a little bit finer, but on, long off, sweeper cover, and mid-wicket. And looking to go over the top is Gowda, and Adada does not move, and he would a procession of South African wickets. And oh, goodness gracious, speaking of knocking over, that ball is hoiked and on its way over the rope just up top. Oh, looking for a little bit more, and he's going to try to bring up his 50 in style. The only question is, did it get over on the... We do have a functional scorecard as Tondale comes in. This one's in the air. Raza on the run, but it's going to get over on the fly. At least thinking about providing more of it. Maybe a double bluff. This time they come up and in on Krishnamurthy, and he deposits that one in front of square leg. Inside the circle.
Goes to pull this, finds the leading edge. There's a man running in, and it's been completed. That is actually...
Keeping things under control, though, here in the death overs.
Vikash Mohan picks us up towards long off. Long off is in business, and he does the business. Krishnamurthy muscles this over the mid-wicket region for a... Again, hoisted over the leg side. You called it, Joe. That is a 6 over square leg, and that is
Balls that made it to the boundary.
Oh, this time Paratkar makes a pretty chunky connection. That is one bounce into. Again, a bit of change of pace, but Sanjay has found the power. Long on. Oh, yet another muscular hit over the wide long on region by Sanjay. This is turning out to be. Oh, Sanjay Krishnamurthy continues his merry ways. Long on is in. Oh, long on was in action for a couple of
The
seconds.
hold on.
Oh, this time shorter. Krishnamurthy rocks back and pulls with panache. Oh, Paratkar joins the party this time. He's lofted it over wide long on. It is a magnificent 6 and a
You're watching the 2024 Minor League Cricket Championship presented by Yash Technologies.
It's his first delivery now.
Jariwala sort of pulls that towards the long on region for a single. There's a bit of confusion with the running between the wickets, but they're eventually safe.
Jadiwala with one of the innings of the weekend down in L.A., posting 90 off 56 balls. A little bit twitchy early, a couple of half chances, but really settled into his work down the stretch and put away mistakes. It'll be Adada here to face the final, rather the penultimate delivery of this first over.
Cautiously defended towards the point region. Dot ball again. That's the third dot ball of the over. Krishnamurthy off to a pretty tidy start with the ball. He was rambunctious with the bat just a few minutes ago. Now he's keeping things quiet with the ball. That was swept to the man at a square leg inside the fence, but straight to the man, so no run, which is the end of the first over. Just 2 runs off of it. Grizzlies on their way.
Even the best in the business needs a strategic partner to help them win. Yash Technologies, more than what you think.
Carmi Leroux is readying up to bowl his first over from the Homestead Avenue end.
And for the Grizzlies here, if they know what's good for them, they're going to try to keep Jadiwala on strike against the lefty. Adada, this has been his big struggle, has been lefty pacers. Last season, just 6 runs off of 20 deliveries faced, and he was dismissed once. This season, he's faced 5 balls. He's been dismissed twice and hasn't scored.
That is bowled pretty quick, left by the batter.
Jadiwala, by contrast, striking at 122 right now off of lefty pacers. He much prefers them to right-arm fast bowlers.
Carmi's got a 6-3 field to the right-handed Jadiwala. He's got a flourish, third man almost at the point.
I thought you were telling me his height when you said 6'3" there, Huddy.
Oh, it's a thin neck, but bouncing before it gets to the keeper. Pretty efficient ball.
Yeah, LaRue, a Bay Area cricketer through and through now. San Francisco Unicorn alongside being an East Bay Blazer. Actually had one of the better batting innings for the Unicorns in that final. 20 not out off 19 on a day when the Unicorns got smashed by the Washington Freedom.
That is patted into the square leg region for a single. First run of this over.
Of course, Carmi better known for his exploits with ball in hand. 3 wickets in his 31 overs over 5 matches.
Carmi's minor league status: 21 wickets and an economy of 6.5, the best of 4 for 13.
Yeah, and last season was one of the elites here in the West. 2nd best average, 2nd best strike rate, 4th best economy. 2 of those ranking in the top 20 in all of minor league cricket.
Left arm quick to a left-handed Adada. That seemed to elude the batter. It is a wide down the leg side. First wide of the bowling innings.
This is the matchup to watch right here. Opportunity for LaRue and the Blazers to make early inroads and try to make this a comfortable defense of 192.
Ball into the wicket, defended watchfully, but in the gap, they have enough time to get a single.
You can see just hard for people to get their arms extended against LaRue. Somebody who is an expert when it comes to boundary prevention, especially here in the power play.
Jadiwala drives, but straight to the man at mid-off. There's a bit of bad bounce, but mid-off is adept and stops it. No run.
Deep protection against Jariwala, located currently at backwards point and well back of square leg.
Jariwala drives to the covers, but there's a man in the infield. Again, dot ball. Karmi's been pretty tidy with his lines. It's the end of the second over. Grizzlies 5 for no loss.
It's an impossible shot.
Sometimes creativity and innovation are all it takes to achieve the impossible. Yash Technologies, more than what you think.
Sanjay Krishnamurti to continue from the schoolhouse end. Bowling left arm around to the
He's got that 3.71 economy coming in. That dropped all the way down to 1.7 inside the power play, and he's better than that at the moment.
this time some bat added into the offside for a dot ball. It's been a very, very tidy start by the bowling unit so far. They are defending quite a handy total, and they can actually afford a couple of boundaries early on, but they've been tidy with the ball, both the left arm spinner and the left arm quick. That is the 5th dot ball in a row.
Work two. Stacking zeros right now.
Dada again going for a sweep and not enough connection again. Dot ball to finish. That's a very handy maiden by Sanjay Krishnamurti. Grizzlies finish with 5 for 0 after 3 overs.
Even the best in the business needs a strategic partner to help them win. Yash Technologies, more than what you think.
Karmi continue. Left arm. There's an aborted run up there. He is bowling left arm over to the right-handed Jariwala now. Same field as before. There's a man at deep point. There's a man at deep square leg. Bowled into the pitch. Jariwala works it towards a short mid wicket for a dot ball.
LaRue continuing the economical work from his own first over, picking up from what we saw from Krishnamurti a moment ago. Sanjay, worth noting, currently 8th in all of minor league cricket in economy coming into today's match. Looks even better if you eliminate people that have only bowled about 12 balls so far. That one's going to rattle the pads, but well down leg. No bat on it, so a leg by here claimed, and they'll exchange the strike and break this sequence of dot balls. Dated back 9 straight deliveries before that.
Karmi to Adara. Speared into the pitch, worked away off his hips into the square leg region. Deep square leg runs in to keep it to 1. There has been some high quality bowling in the opening exchanges here by Blazers. A lot of heat by the left arm quick And tidy lines from Sanjay in his overs from the far end.
Well, and Adada so far has navigated it pretty well. He's gotten himself immediately off strike. Carmine destroys lefties. Adada suffers against lefties.
This bull shot was given wide for height. It had a fair bit of hang time on it. Jariwala lets that one go.
Yeah, it's kind of remarkable for as economical as LaRue is. About 1 out of every 5 runs he gives up in the power play is either a wide or a no ball. It's the one mark against him. He'd be even higher on most of the leaderboards if he could get the radar right. But when you are dancing around the edges, sometimes you miss.
Bashed into the wicket. They have enough time to sneak a single there.
Some good quick work there from Rashil Ugarkar, charging in and trying to nail Jadiwala at LaRue's end.
He pats it towards the wide slip fielder for a dot ball. Karmi is getting a fair bit of pace here, not allowing the batters to get any big swings at the ball right now.
Yeah, they certainly are protecting, though, in case Carmine misses down leg. They've got their protection right where Adada was hitting it during the course of his big innings last weekend. Deep third or fine leg and deep backwards square.
Again, a similar shot, sort of an underage towards the wide slip fielder. It's 9 for no loss after 4 overs for Grizzlies.
It's an impossible shot.
Sometimes creativity and innovation are all it takes to achieve the impossible. Yash Technologies, more than what you think.
Change of bowlers at the schoolhouse end. It's going to be Rushil Ugarkar, who entered the weekend as minor league cricket's leading wicket taker. Amila Aponzo has since pipped him, and he'll look to, do some re-pipping in a moment here as he takes on Tarun Adada, or rather Rahul Jadiwala, on strike as we get this next over started.
Looking through Rushil's stats, he's got 34 wickets in minor league at an economy of 8 with a best of 5 for 27. He is shaping to bowl right arm quick, right arm over the wicket to the right-handed Jariwala.
And he's been a wicket taker pretty much whenever you bowl him, but he's been most economical in the power play, just 5.17 runs per. And he'll be another one looking to get Adada on strike. He's been uber economical against lefty batters.
That is driven into the covers. It's only going to be a single. Cover runs back, cuts it off.
So far, Golden State surviving the early onslaught of Krishnamurthy and LaRue, but at what cost? As they sit here at 10 for no loss after 25 deliveries, that required run rate, which began at about 9.6, is now already climbing up to 11.5. It's going to be a tall order here to try and get the train moving, especially in the absence of Mohit Nataraj, who is one of the more explosive batters, replaced today by Ali Raza.
Rushil running in around the wicket to the left-handed Adada. Has bowled full and driven back to the bowler. Just for a second, it felt as though it almost beat the bat.
Adada, no stranger to playing it rather late in its trajectory.
A fair bit of variety on display by the Blazers already with their bowling arsenal. Left arm spin, left arm quick, and now a right arm quick. Into the wicket this time, allowing Adada to pull it, but straight to the man at short mid wicket, no run.
You see the quick movement of the feet, the sure hands on the inner circle here for East Bay. They've barely needed their deep protection, which, for the record, is at backward square and at backward point at the moment. Waiting for Adada to try one of those late cuts to the offside, or perhaps to try to hook one back behind himself.
Again, bowled into the wicket. This time, he's worked the pull off into the square leg region. A single. these overs so far. A couple of leg byes. Grizzlies move to 11 with that single. Both batters striking at significantly less than 50 strike rate so far.
Well, that's really the quality of this East Bay Blazers bowling unit, and they get back Sanjay after last weekend.
This time, a bit of a diving stop on the offside. Keeps a good shot with just a dot ball. That is a decent shot by Jaribala. Finding a punchy drive into the cover region.
That's the second time Vikash Mohan has been able to flag one down. Turned what could have been 2 or 3 into a single and turns that one into a dot. It's just as good as getting him with your bat, which Vikash will be upset not having done in his.
Trying to place it to the offside again, but no contact. Which means it's the end of Abdulkar's first over. A super tidy one, just 2 runs. Grizzlies at 11 for no loss after 5 overs.
Even the best in the business needs a strategic partner to help them win. Yash Technologies, more than what you think.
Abhishek Paradkar, the 23-year-old San Diego native, recently having been on USA duty over in the Netherlands. He'll bowl his first over. Last time he was here in Santa Clara, it was a day to remember. Took his first minor league cricket fifer against the Silicon Valley Strikers. Got a few early big wickets and then cleaned up the tail. He'll be looking for a little bit more of the same. Lefty about to dig in, succeeding Carmine LaRue, the other lefty pacer from this Homestead Avenue end. Big rip from Tarunadada, but he's only able to get the under edge to it. On one hop back to the man with the gloves, Aditya Ganesh.
Looking through Paradkar's stats on minor league, he's got 40 wickets so far with an economy rate of 7.4.
And 10 of those 40 have come in just the last couple of weeks here in the 2024 Minor League Cricket Championships, striking at 13.3 balls per wicket and holding an economy just barely over a run a ball. In fact, if he bowls a dot on this next one, it will be exactly a run a ball for the season. Oh, and he's gone full Mariano Rivera there and broken the bat, it would appear, of Tarunadada. It's a little different with a cricket bat if you want to shatter bats. In baseball, it's all about you either get them to hit it off the very, very toe end or you get it up near like what you would call the splice for a cricket bat. Have you seen too many of them get fractured?
On international cricket, yes. Oh, this has been worked.
Oh boy,
towards
I better get ready to catch.
In the hitting range.
Oh my goodness gracious, that's
the first 6 of the Grizzlies innings. Much needed boundary. Adada rocking back and pulling that ball sort of straight over long on.
We got moved into the firing line. We were on the other side of the camera before this. That's we were happy that we were about 15 yards away from where Sanjay Krishnamurthy was targeting that one. Absolutely just maybe 2 feet to the side. I was worried about whether I needed to be ready to catch. I got one on a hop last year out at mid-wicket. Anthony Bramble picked me out, but I don't want one in the air. I need the ground to take a little sting out of it, please. Not to mention, I'm a bass player. I'm pretty sure if I reach out for that, my lead singer, Aaliyah, is just going to she's just going to know there's a disturbance in the force.
Your lead singer?
Yes, the lead singer of the band I'm in here. I'm not going to... No, the heck with it. Why not? Right Proper. Go look us up.
Right Proper?
Right Proper.
As we speak, Paradkar seems to have picked up a minor niggle with his what appears to be his left leg, so he's walking off.
That may well be the same injury that caused him to have to abort one of the games down in Los Angeles. I have him down as having bowled 2.1. I don't think it was the first ball of his final over that that he took that 5th wicket last time around, so he's had a couple of partial ones.
Sujit Gowda is going to complete the remainder of this over. He is bowling what appears to be right arm off breaks around the wicket with left-handed Gowda.
Oh, and he's knocked him over. Sujit Gowda into the attack and immediately into the wickets. I mean, it couldn't possibly be a bigger difference going from the express pace of Paradkar to the off-spin of Sujit Gowda.
Although that is actually a pretty fastish off-spinner there. Adada trying to go back and work it into the offside, but had enough pace to beat the bat and find the stumps. Gowda making in with the ball.
That winds up being the end of, they have it down on the scorecard at the moment as Jadiwala, but I think they're going to go back and fix that because it was definitely Adada that targeted us, and it was certainly a left-hander because we were having the stumps hidden from us from our position. Tarun Adada, the one sent packing, he leaves with 10 runs off 21, 6 of those coming off the very final ball he faced before getting cleaned up by Gowda. Golden State 17 for the loss of 1. And at least based on what we've seen so far from this team this season, you would imagine that is Kranti Kumar Chintapalli on his way out to join Jadiwala at the crease. Waiting for confirmation of that, but Grizzlies already have seen 9.5, 9.6 runs per over required, balloon up to 2 runs a ball, 12.07 now after that wicket was claimed. It is indeed Kranti Kumar Chintapalli out to partner Jadiwala.
Kranti Kumar has got 326 runs in minor league so far, averaging 25. He strikes at 110. He's got a highest score of 77. He's bagged 350s in his career so far.
Well, and that 77 came just last weekend. That was against the Los Angeles Lashings, a game in which his hook shot in particular was in fine form. That one is back behind. They thought about, oh, dear heavens, that's going to be a mix-up between the wickets, and why rush this process? Gowda will take off the stumps. Kranti Kumar put that one back behind point. Fielded, Jadiwala took off like a shot, and he is run out. And the Golden State Grizzlies on a team hat trick now after losing 2 wickets and 2 balls.
Tragedy for Grizzlies. Just when they finally broke the shackles with a big 6 from Adada. Adada fell to Gowda's off spin, and then very next ball, Gowda finds himself affecting a run out at the bowler's end and sending back Jadiwala, who is fresh off this big 90 last weekend. So a big target right now, and 2 productive batsmen back in the hut for Grizzlies.
I didn't even get a chance to mention the fact that that partnership there of Kumar and Jadiwala would have been the 2 men currently, or at least at the beginning of the day, tied for 5th in scoring in minor league cricket, both of them with 186 runs. Jadiwala has pushed that to 190, but his day ends here 4 off 13 after being run out at the bowler's end. I believe based on the hat, that might have been... oh, no, it seems to be Saideep Ganesh that made that throw as he turns his back to us, the number 8 out there in the deep. It's one of a few players that wears the big sun hat out there, so I thought it was Usman Ghani. As it works out, it's Usman Ghani that tells us that it was Saideep because he comes out there in said hat and is parked right in front of us. So thank you, Usman. Gowda to continue the over. Can they get the team hat trick? Not quite. That is going to be flared just wide of Carmine LaRue. He'll chase that down. Doesn't have enough juice to make it to the boundary rope. And a pair of runs. Kranti Kumar underway.
I believe that's actually the first 2 of the innings. Kranti Kumar leaning into that one and lifting it over the cover region. Elegant looking shot for a couple of runs. He's off the mark.
Yeah, I can confirm up to this point it had been all dots, singles, leg bys, wides, and 1-6. They skipped right from 1 straight to 6.
This time, sort of a leading edge over the point region. It goes back. It gives them enough time to come back for 2. Just about enough time, I must add, because there is a backhanded flick by the keeper for an appeal, but not upheld.
So the highest scoring inning of the, of the innings to finish off the power play. Golden State Grizzlies do get 10 from it, but a pair of wickets fall. One with a bit of magic off the fingertips of Sujit Gowda. The other Bit of a comedy of errors. Jadiwala and Adada both back in the shed. Golden State 21 for 2. It will be more off-spin now from the schoolhouse end as Vikash Mohan comes into the attack and amidst all of the excitement neglected to introduce the new batter, although he's only going to be facing his first delivery right here. Sahil Garg, the partner of Kranti Kumar at the other end. Garg so far on this season, a nice outing to start things off with 31 off 35 against Silicon Valley in their opener. Also a quick-fire 30 not out off 14. That included 25 off the last 8 in the Grizzlies' victory over the San Diego Surf Riders. He'll face up against Mohan. Tapped to square leg. Nobody in that spot in the circle. The power play at an end. As we go 2-2 for 2 here, and fielding restrictions are released, so all of a sudden deep fielders everywhere. Looks like the protection against Garg, or rather against Kranti Kumar, as they swap places. I'm not even going to try. They're all moving. I was going to try and sum them up. No, they're all in motion. We'll get there when we get there.
They're all in motion partly because it's a left and right combination in the middle.
Kranti Kumar might have had my favorite moment of the entire weekend. We'll go ahead and get through this ball here, and I'll tell you a little bit about it. Mohan round the wicket. Vikash with the off spin. Gets a little bit of turn. That misses the bat of Kranti Kumar as he offers at it into the gloves of the DT Ganesh. Kumar was dismissed in the last innings of the week on a ball that was scalded right back to Sujit Nayak, the bowler. As he'll drop that one wide of third man, rather. A single here for Kranti. But on that delivery and on that wicket, Nayak made the catch one-handed, and I swear Kranti Kumar instantaneously morphed into the Pakistani cricket fan meme, just in terms of body position, the little balled-up fist on the hip, the slight curve in the spine, as if to say, what in the heck was that? Gave me a little smile. Couldn't see his face, but you knew exactly how he felt. Garg will push this one to mid-wicket. Nothing there.
Mohan's got a 5-4 field to the right-handed Garg, 5 on the leg side.
Uses his feet a little bit and frees up his access to the offside. Guides that wide of Ganesh in the covers. Golden State continuing to work mostly in singles. As Huddy mentioned, it's been singles, extras, 1-2, 1-6. Actually, rather 2-2s. They came back-to-back. Need to get a move on. Final delivery of this over here for Mohan. Stepping towards it is Kumar. Taps it right back to the Trinidadian bowler. And a tidy first over for Vikash. 3 off of it. Golden State 22 for 2 through 7.
Oh, 24 for 2, yeah.
Not only do we have spin from both sides, but we now have Trinidadian spinners from both sides, as it'll be the lefty wrist spinner Christopher Ramsaran getting his first over of work from the Homestead Avenue end. former New England Eagle in 2022. A little experience in the CPL with the St. Lucia Zooks, which lets you know that was at least a handful of years ago because they have since been rebranded, and I hate it.
Rebranded to
The St. Lucia Kings. They basically have a recolored version of the Punjab Kings logo, which I'm also not a fan of because I thought Kings 11 was a much cooler name. That one tapped wide of Sujith Gowda at short cover. Quick single taken as they look to get a little busier between the wickets, but it's going to take a hefty dose of boundaries for Golden State to make this a game. Asking rate already up to 13s.
Sahil Garg on that occasion dancing down the track a little bit to find the gap on the offside.
Motion continues due to the righty-lefty combination. It is the left-hander Kumar on strike. Looks to free the hands, but he gets an under edge. That'll go back to fine leg Abhishek Paradkar.
Is Paradkar back on the field?
Does seem to be. Good news, of course, that does mean it's only going to get another 3 overs of work. So the equation gets interesting as that one's tapped to the offside for no run. We'll have to find another over from somewhere. Luckily, a pretty hefty number of bowlers available here to Sanjay Krishnamurthy himself, LaRue, Ramsaran, Vikash, Sujith, Abhishek. They should be able to cover it just fine.
That was elegantly struck by Kumar into the offside, but straight to the man at cover, dot ball. Interestingly, they've got 4 men on the leg side, 3 on the fence, 1 inside the ring at fine leg. This one is sort of speared down the leg side for a wide.
Yeah, really flattening that one out, does Ramsaran. Of course, wrist spin, notorious for being a little less challenged, or a little more challenging to get directed where you want.
Oh, this was struck over the bowler's head. It's going to be 4. It is 4. Lovely, elegant strike by Kumar. Getting on the front foot. That ball was right in his arc. He could lift it over the bowler.
Speaking of directed where you want it, that was absolutely punished straight back down the ground.
Usman Ghani being at long on just a few yards away from it. It had enough panache to beat him comfortably.
Golden State going to need a little more of that. Last ball for Ramsaran. That's in the air. Could be a chance. No, it'll fall just in front of Usman Ghani. So unable to chase down the 4 that was zipping by him a moment ago. That one dropped just in no man's land between him and the inner circle. That'll do it, though. A single and a 4 off the last 2. Total of 7 runs from over number 8. Golden State 31 for 2. Vikash Mohan will continue from the schoolhouse end. First delivery is to Kranti Kumar, who retains the strike after that single. We'll feel a small sigh of relief that he did not pick out Ghani in the deep on that last ball of the 8th over.
On this occasion, Kumar punching it towards long off for a single, which brings Sahil Garg back on strike. Mohan's been bowling around the wicket to both the left and the right-handed batters.
Garg trying to use his feet and give himself room. Nearly shows too much of the stumps to it. Has to reach out to get contact. They'll take a quick single here. At this point, dot balls are poison. And so looking to take those runs here. Golden State still stuck at 4 runs and over after an incredibly economical spell to open from LaRue and Krishnamurthy. Flattens that one out, does Vikash. They'll take another quick single as it's deposited in front of mid-on. A lot of yellow and dark blue out here in terms of the chromatic panorama, but of course the bowling unit right now tinged red and black, the pair of Trinidadians from both sides trying to apply the clamps to the Grizzlies. Garg will work that one to mid-wicket. Nothing there. A bit of a gallivant down the pitch from Kumar. He'll head back. Don't need a repeat of what happened on Kumar's first delivery out there. The run out of Jariwala definitely taking the air out of any sails that were starting to develop for the Grizzlies. That one tapped wide of the fielder in the covers. Over to claim it, another dot ball.
Mohan's been working this angle to the right-handed batter from around the wicket.
This time he will find the gap wide of LaRue. Gets that into the outfield for a single, 4 from it. They've been averaging roughly 4 and over. That is not going to get the job done. They need to put a 1 in front of that 4 at some point here. Golden State 35 for 2 through 9.
It's an impossible shot.
Sometimes creativity and innovation are all it takes to achieve the impossible. Yash Technologies, more than what you think.
Christopher Ramsaran will continue as well from the Homestead Avenue end. Why fix what isn't broken? So far, 7 off of 2 overs against Vikash Mohan. Ramsaran did give up the 1-4 to Kranti Kumar. That one is airborne. Nobody in that zone. It'll get to Carmine LaRue at a wide long on a few hops. Sahil Garg picks up a single to start the over. Fielders shift positions with the lefty now on strike. Kranti sitting at 12 off 13. Thought we might have had a feathered edge into the gloves of Aditya Ganesh right there. Thought I heard a second sound, but nothing given by the umpire at this end, Sunil Singh.
You got really sharp ears if you heard something there. I didn't hear nothing.
I might also have a vivid imagination. That one a little wide of the desired trajectory, and that will be a freebie for the Grizzlies. This one tapped to the offside. Another dot ball here. Ramsaran has taken a pair of wickets so far as an East Bay Blazer. Economy of 8. Doing better work here. That one dropped in front of Usman Ghani by the lefty Kranti. But still just dealing in singles. Just the 2 boundary strokes. Kumar with 1, Adada with a 6 just before his dismissal. The enforced change of Gowda in for Paradkar bearing fruit and sowing some chaos. Very wide delivery. This one pushed wide of Ghani in the outfield. But good work by the Afghan opener and fielder. Off after that ball, picking it up and limiting them again to a single. Final delivery of the first half of this innings. Manages to guide that one inside the tram lines. It's a dot to finish off, and it could hardly be going better right now for the East Bay Blazers. We reach the halfway point of the run chase. Golden State have only picked up 39 of the 192 required. 39 for 2.
Even the best in the business needs a strategic partner to help them win. Yash Technologies, more than what you think.
Vikash Mohan to continue from the far end, bowling right arm around. This is being lifted towards the long on region. In fact, it's lifted right into the hands of the long on fielder. Sahil Garg falling for 7 with that shot.
And obviously the need coming into this point here, and I'm sure the discussion in between the 10th and 11th over, all about we need to accelerate. We've got to find boundaries. We've only hit 2 of them this entire time. And Sahil Garg absolutely reading that brief and needed to be done there, just could not quite. Golden State in a world of hurt at this point.
Garg departs for 7 of 8 balls. And Mohan picks up his first wicket. He's got 1 for 7 of his 2.1 so far. Required rate up to 15.5 at this stage.
It's going to be Sukhwant Sekon coming in as Vikash Mohan claims that wicket. It was Sanjay Krishnamurthy in the deep, securing that ball at long on. And Sekon had a nice bit to say late in the piece with ball in hand for Golden State. They're going to need something special from him potentially with the bat to get this moving in the right direction.
Mohan to continue with his around-the-wicket strategy of bowling to right-handers. There is bowled a bit flatter into the pitch, worked away to the mid-on region for a dot ball by Sekon.
Sukhwant into the action a little earlier than he has been in prior games. He was in at 6 and at 7 in the final 2 games down in LA. 3 off 4 in both occasions.
This time punched into the offside, but again straight to the man at the cover point region. Dot ball again. Sekon's got a pretty vivid red helmet, which makes him stand out from the rest of the batters. This time slapped over the square leg region. It's dribbling towards the deep fine leg or deep square leg fielder. Just a single. Sekon's off the mark with that shot. Vikash Mohan would be quite happy with the last couple of minutes. A wicket, a couple of dot balls, and a single now. Not any serious damage inflicted on the Blazers fielding unit.
Yeah, fantastic spell so far from Vikash, who barely bowled at all last season. Just 1 over for 11 runs. This year, a much bigger contributor with ball in hand. Batted into the covers, thinking about a quick single, but wisely deciding to steer clear of a single there as Gunny cleans up. Kranti Kumar's been composed throughout most of his innings. The required run rate, though, is a lofty 15 plus 16. Kranti takes a swing, but that was not quite smashed off the middle. That goes towards long off for 1. As Vikash Mohan completes a very tidy third over. His figure is 9 for 1 after 3 overs. Grizzlies 41 for 3 after 11 overs. See if my stats are so I've got Vikash at I've got Vikash wickets already. Interesting. Even before this wicket. Ramsaran back from the Homestead Avenue end. That's been lofted down the ground by Kranti Kumar. Is that going to test the fielders at long off and long on? Long off runs around to keep it to 2. Kranti Kumar's like the straight region of this wrist spinner. We've seen at least 3 shots in this region, 1 boundary and a couple of 2s and singles. And of course, he's going to want to dominate the strike at this point. He's a set batter. He's the one with a great deal more experience at this level, and the one capable at potentially going at the sort of rate they're going to need as that one sneaks under the bat, back behind for a quick single. Ramsaran to bowl to the right-handed Sekon for the first time. Sekon goes for a airy-fairy shot wide of long off. Gunny's tracking it, and Gunny's pounced on it. That is a sharp catch, about a couple of yards inside the fence. Ramsaran gets his first wicket. Sekon departs for 1 of 4 balls. He got a decent piece of that, but it had more elevation than distance, and Gunny keeping his eyes on the ball and running about 6 or 7 yards to his left to complete an adept catch. Grizzlies lose their 4th wicket. Their scorecard a very symmetric 44 for 4 in 11.3 overs. And on that ball there, you just see the aggression that's necessary at this point because of that required run rate, which is now ballooned up to nearly 3 runs a ball. No choice but to really start to go for it. And if you're a smart bowler in that situation, you keep the ball just at bay. You keep it a little bit wider. You try and bowl that good length, and you try to keep it out of the arc and let that aggression just take care of itself. Very often, that's what it's going to lead to, and especially if you don't have great footwork, getting yourself to the pitch of that ball. Sakan very much reaching out. You get a sense of the power in those long arms. The ability to get it as far as he did without much in the way of footwork and with it being a bit off the toe end. But at the end of the day, not enough there. Ali Raza, the debutant, now in to partner Kranti Kumar.
Aside from the intimidating run rate bearing down on the batters, Ramsaran has been varying his flight and lines expertly, testing the batter's judgment. The last one was bowled a little wider, enticing the drive, but the batsman playing away from the center, hence not getting all of his power. Raza goes back and tries to bash it through the cover region, no contact. Going down and trying to sweep it this time, again no contact. Ramsaran bowling it a little quicker this time.
Raza certainly not going to go down wondering. Full-blooded rip taken at that ball.
Oh, he's found the stumps. Ramsaran has found the stumps. Again, Raza going for a sweep shot, again making no contact, but this time Ramsaran got some turn back in and beat the bat. It found the middle stump halfway up the top, halfway up the bottom rather, and that is a very, very productive over for Ramsaran. 2 strikes. He finishes with 13 for 2 of his 3 overs. Not quite finishes, he's got 1 more over, and Grizzlies slump to 44 for 5 after 12 overs. Vikash Mohan to continue his spell, his 4th and last over coming up from the schoolhouse end, bowling to the set Kumar. Oh, the set Kumar is now unset. Did I just jinx him? Vikash bowled it pretty quick around 3rd stump, and that one sneaking through Kumar's swing and finding the off stump. Consecutive strikes here for the Blazers. Grizzlies stumbled to 44 for 6, and that's a big wicket because Kumar was looking composed and he's been the set batsman for the entire innings. The run rate now careens up towards 19, and Grizzlies are also running out of wickets as we speak.
And if you're looking at this from a playoff qualification perspective, I mean, obviously for the Grizzlies, they needed to win to have any prayer here. This is going to be curtains as well for the Silicon Valley Strikers and the LA Lashings, unless something truly insane happens in the next 40-odd minutes. But if you're the Blazers, the other thing you're looking at is, you know, cricket's a funny game. You can win a match by 90 runs, turn around, face that team again, and lose on the final ball. For the Blazers, the fact that what this is going to potentially do to their net run rate is incredibly important, because if they do stumble and fall later on today and end up at 5-3, that would be the only way San Diego could oust them from the playoffs, would be by reaching 5-3 and besting them in net run rate. You hang something like this on a local rival, that pretty much eliminates that concern and really does start to make things a lot more straightforward, even in the event that you have one of those very two-faced days here in this doubleheader.
We're waiting to see who the new batter is.
Well, we do know Adnesh Tondale has gone out to one end in place of Ali Raza. Hasn't faced a delivery just yet. Running out of options for who that new man might be in the first place. Now with 7 wickets down, it will be Sohan Bhatt partnering Tundale and getting ready to face Vikash Mohan.
Vikash Mohan has a slip for the left-hander now. First time we've seen a slip in operation in quite a while.
Blazers on a team hat trick.
Defended watchfully back to the bowler. No team hat trick. Who played watchfully. He went back and had to adjust the bounce or the lack of bounce, and he's worked it towards long on for a single. Butts off the mark with that shot. As Grizzlies move to 45 for 6. The challenge for Grizzlies right now is they're faced with an intimidating run rate and a very, very sharp bowling attack with a lot of variety. Can they find the focus and strength to put together a useful partnership in the next few overs and sort of bridge the deficit?
I was having a giggle earlier. I don't know what they presently seem to have against me, the bowling attacks for these teams, but all the wickets, save for 2, have fallen while you've been on ball by ball, Hadi.
That is punched back towards the bowler for a dot ball. Tundale's first ball, that. We've also got an extra bird fielder at the long on cone. Oh, at the fine leg cone here. That was an appeal for leg before, but not upheld by the umpire, sliding down leg stump apparently.
Yeah, Vikash liked it. Sundaram Subramanian did not.
Vikash has been not only bowling very efficiently, he's bowling very quick. His overs are done in no time. That's the last ball of his spell coming up. Work towards the offside through the cover region. It's going to be a single to finish, which means Vikash Mohan finishes his spell with a very, very tidy 11 for 2 of 4 overs. Grizzlies at 46 for 6 after 13 overs. The Spin Twins have been keeping things in check for the last several minutes. Ramsaran about to bowl his 4th over. He's already bagged a couple of wickets. He'd love to snare some more here.
Yeah, together Vikash and Christopher have taken care of basically the entire middle over stretch, save for the next over that neither of them are allowed to bowl.
Tundale hits that towards the mid-wicket region for 1 just for a brief moment. The fielder was in play for a run-out, but not quite cleanly collected.
That would have been Vikash saying, I don't care that I'm done with my 4 overs. I want more wickets. 4 wickets falling in the span of 13 deliveries, 3 of them in the span of 5, have really sucked a lot of the juice out of this game as it works out.
Hit firmly but straight to the man at cover. Dot ball to Butt. Ramsaran now has a slip for the left-handed Sohan Butt. Defended into the covers, thinking of a single, but cover hustles in to keep it to a dot ball. Tidy fielding.
A little bit of cleanup to do there as Aditya Ganesh whipped off the bails. A truly remarkable spell here for the 2 Trinidadian spinners. They've managed to limit them to just 26 runs through roughly 8 overs at this point.
Again, a very similar play, turning away from the left-hander. Left-hander leans forward, pats it into the cover. The cover fieldsman hustles in, keeps it to a dot ball. It's bowling to his field is Ramsaran. He's bowling with tidy flight and control, and he's getting a decent bit of turn. Oh! Huge appeal for leg before. The umpire is thinking about it. Hasn't been upheld. This might have gone along with the arm and flummoxed the batter there. The batter playing for the turn, but this one went along with the arm and hit him in the pads and probably in front of the stumps, but umpire thinking it was probably adjacent.
Ramsaran making his case as vociferously as he can. He's got 2 so far. that he's taken, but only one more ball to try to get another.
I'm sliding down leg side. Did the batter get some bat on it, or is it off the pad? They're thinking of two. It's only one. I'm waiting for the umpires. Oh, it's a wide. So it got nothing. So that's a wide from Ramsaran, a rare wide. A wide +1 for the score.
Yeah, of note, we were talking beforehand about the issue sometimes controlling wrist spin. That's his third wide here, but he only had one coming into the match on this season.
By the batter, which means Ramsaran wraps his very, very skillful spell with 16 for 2 of 4 overs. The Spin Twins have absolutely bossed the middle overs for Blazers. Grizzlies 49 for 6 after 14 overs.
It's an impossible shot.
Sometimes creativity and innovation are all it takes to achieve the impossible. Yash Technologies, more than what you think.
It's time for some more pace as Rushil Ugarkar gets ready to bowl from the schoolhouse end. He is bowling right arm around the wicket to the left-handed Tundale. To butt. Tapped into the offside for a quick single. Third man runs into the circle to pick it up.
So somewhat paradoxically, the ball speeds up, the game slows down because you no longer have the spinners with their little tiny run-ups. Been moving very briskly through the middle overs. The two Spin Twins there, Vikash and Christopher, bowling 8 overs together all at once. They go for a combined 27 runs. And if this game had been in any doubt beforehand, that's the way that you remove all doubt. We're now at the point where it's got to be a 4 off every delivery to win.
Gurkar bowling pretty quick that one. The batter trying to get some wood on that. Beaten.
Sohan Bhatt single earlier, by the way, the 50 up for Golden State.
Oh, again, beat him for pace. Did it find the pad this time? Waiting for the umpire's signal.
Yeah, I thought I heard 2 sounds on that one, and so indeed it's
been given
as runs. Yep.
Rushil Ugarkar seems to be working up a decent chunk of pace there. On both of those last 2 balls, the batter sort of almost cut in half by the extra pace.
Yeah, that was actually the phrase I was going to use. I think you said squared him up. I was going to say sawed him in half. That was, to be fair, there are 2 rather large chunks if you saw Adnesh Tundale in half. That's a big guy.
Sohan defends it towards the bowler. Rushil charges in to cut it off. Very good skill by Rushil there. Healthy pace to both batters.
Yeah, and whether bowler or inner fielder or the men on the boundaries here, everybody absolutely moving after every ball here. The Blazers have been just switched on from moment 1 of this run chase in the field, and just they're not giving up much of anything extra. We've seen still only 2 boundaries. Kranti Kumar's 4 right by us, and the 6 that immediately preceded the first 2 wickets falling.
That is a bouncer. Sohan ducking out of the way. Wait.
And we've only even seen 3 balls on which 2 runs were taken.
We haven't seen too many bouncers in this inning so far. That was a rare bouncer, bowled around the wicket to the left-hander.
Well, thus far, dare I say, the B on the shirt has served the purpose of intimidation better than any bouncer would.
Again, slightly short this time, a little bit of width. Sohan Bhatt guides it to the third man region for a single. He moves on to 3 with that single. That's the end of Ugarkar's second over. 5 for none of his 2 tidy overs of healthy pace. Grizzlies 52 for 6 after 15.
Even the best in the business needs a strategic partner to help them win. Yash Technologies, more than what you think.
Entering the death overs. Although it has been a little bit of a death march for quite some time here as the wickets have fallen for Golden State, never quite able to get underway in terms of their run rate. Immediately saw the required rate jump into the 11s and 12s within the power play. Sanjay Krishnamurthy responsible for a good chunk of that. He's going to bowl his third over of the match. But he'll do it from the opposite end here, the Homestead Avenue end. His first 2 overs went for a combined 2 runs. He is actually at the moment riding a string of 9 consecutive dot deliveries, including the first one of this over. Second one is back past Sanjay, and that'll break the schneid there, but still just 3 runs off 14 overs. He came in with an economy under 4, and he's going to make it even better.
The game all over. He was one of the chief architects of Blazers' big innings, and he opened their bowling as well, and he was the man at long on to take a catch a while back. Now he's back bowling at the late stage of the game. This time driven through the covers by the right-handed Tundale. It's gonna be only 1. They were thinking about 2 for just a brief second.
There's been an awful lot of thinking about 2 and then having to decide otherwise. As we said, that East Bay fielding unit showing you the difference that can make. And even in a game like this where there isn't necessarily a lot of drama associated with the final result, knowing what you can do with net run rate here as that one's tapped straight back to Sanjay, sure hands. Nearly guides that back onto the stumps, but Tundale looked to be back in time. It's just hard to get much of anything off Krishnamurthy. That one hits pad. Looked like it was going down leg, though. Still one of the great frustrations for me of MLC is for as much as we got the joy of seeing Krishnamurthy with the bat in hand, he did not get a single over bowled. It's blocked by the other lefty spinner, Hassan Khan, the whole way.
This time, Sohan Bhatt finds a sweep. He finds deep square leg. That's a single.
And that'll be the final ball of this 16th over. Golden State 55 for the loss of 6. Just 24 balls left in Game 1 of today's doubleheader from Santa Clara.
It's an impossible shot.
Sometimes creativity and innovation are all it takes to achieve the impossible. Yash Technologies, more than what you think.
Rushi Lugarkar remains on at the schoolhouse end. Been a fair few bowling changes over the course of this innings as he rumbles in. Worked off the face of the bat, up near the splice by Sohan Bhatt. Guides that to third man. It'll be a single to start.
This has been recurrent play in the last few minutes, guiding towards the deep third man region for 1. Being one area where the batters have been able to find a single.
Rushil coming back in. So far, just 6 runs conceded off 13 balls for him.
Covers by Dale, but straight to the man there. No run.
Yeah, from start to finish, you know, sometimes you might expect to see a game like this. You try out a few new folks. They've been going with their A team here, and the focus has not lapsed for even a moment. Tundale with a big rip through the line and unable to make contact. So the big question for me now thinking about the fact that they've got to come right back out here and face this bowling unit is what is the talk in between matches? What are you thinking about to try to wrestle this back the other way? As a bowling unit, couldn't take wickets, hemorrhaged boundaries at the end. As a batting unit, just never have gotten set. As this one is another swing and a miss, and on a bounce into the gloves of Aditya Ganesh.
That was actually a pretty sharp take by Aditya Ganesh. He had to contend with the second bounce there, a little bit of low, sort of uneven bounce. Kept his eyes on the ball, good take. Sometimes when a keeper does a good job, it goes under noticed.
It is true. It goes for just about anything that you make look too easy. That one's gotten pad, awaiting the finger, and it is not forthcoming from Sundaram Subramanian.
That was bowled into the wicket and seemed to scuttle through, found the pad. The umpire seeming to suggest it was going outside off stump with his left hand, meaning the batter was struck outside the line there.
Final delivery of the over to Tondale. He gets back to this one, sprays it wide of a cover. And they will take a pair of single runs, bracketing 4 consecutive dots. Ugarkar continuing his excellent work that he started weeks ago up here in the Bay Area, took down to L.A., and now brings back home. 57 for the loss of 6 through 17.
Even the best in the business needs a strategic partner to help them win. Yash Technologies, more than what you think.
Three overs to go in this one. The result, not particularly in doubt by this point. The asking rate has climbed to 45s. We do hope you'll stick around. As we said, cricket is an interesting game. Every now and again, you'll see a blasted result like this, and then the second game winds up being very tight. Happened as recently as the 2022 playoffs. Still have vivid memories as that one is tapped just behind point. Nothing there for Tondale. But a couple of years back in the playoffs, we had the Strikers and the Tigers, and the Strikers finished off the chase in game 1 of a 3-game series in 11 overs. Second game went to a super over, and they lost it. So you never know. Tondale gets one out through the infield. Hamza Tariq claims that at long off. Single here. Krishnamurthy back into the attack, bowling his final over.
A couple of minor adjustments in the field for the left-handed Sohan Butt. He goes back twice to pull that one, finds the pad. It is going to be a leg by. We're waiting for the umpire's signal. It is a leg by. Sanjay Krishnamurthy into his last 3 balls. It's been a super frugal spell from him so far.
Yeah, I keep looking for better words to describe that. We'll say stingy, miserly.
Parsimonious.
Ooh.
Driven down the ground by Tondale. Again, Tariq at long off having to run forwards to clean that up.
Parsimonious. You can stay. I like that a lot. Scrooge-esque.
Oh, there's a decent connection on that by the left-handed Sohan, but that's a beautiful boundary. It finds the fence. It actually knocks the cone down on its way. That's a rare boundary for Grizzlies. They move to 64 for 6 with that strike. That's the first boundary for Sohan Butt. Good-looking shot. He got down low and nailed that sweep.
Rare barely touches that. That is the first boundary they've hit since the 8th over. That was a span of, I believe, exactly 60 deliveries in between boundaries.
This time he works it towards long off, went back and punched it towards long off fieldsman. A single, but finding the middle of the bat in the last couple of minutes.
And that'll mean that Krishnamurthy finishes with an economy of 3 On his spell, 12 runs conceded from 4 overs. You don't need...
It's an impossible shot.
Sometimes creativity and innovation are all it takes to achieve the impossible. Yash Technologies, more than what you think.
A look here at the bowling card, and it does look like we're going to see a new one, an off spinner, as yet to be identified here. First delivery into the gloves of Aditya Ganesh, and it is, it's Sujith Gowda, so it's not a new one, but he only bowled a little bit. As you might recall, Abhishek Paradkar has not participated with ball in hand since the middle of his first over. A little reverse sweep by Sohan Bhatt guides that ball back behind third man. That'll be a single. So Gowda will, after coming in and presiding over a bowled wicket, the first wicket to fall, followed by the run out of Jadiwala, followed by a pair of twos, he's back in. We knew they were going to have to cobble together a couple of wickets at the end due to the absence of Paradkar from the attack from that point forward. 66 for 6 right now, a rather demonic-looking scorecard. That one's going to go back behind the legs of Tondale. That's going to be at least 2 wides, make it 3 as they come back for another. Never a great thing when a ball that goes for 3 wides is the 4th most valuable shot of your innings. I've had 1 6, 2 4s. Otherwise, everything has been bitten off largely in 1s, the occasional 2. A lot of dots and wickets falling in clumps, 2 of them back-to-back in the 6th, and then 4 of them in 13 balls right there just after the hypothetical drinks break. Another one here worked just behind square. Tondale will take a single from that. I was alluding to it earlier. What do you say in a team talk in between games after one like this?
That's been hit back to the bowler by Sohan Bhatt. Dot ball again. I would imagine they should probably forget the first game and reboot.
Yeah, I believe the Ted Lasso thing was goldfish, right? Got to be a goldfish. Shortest memory in the animal kingdom. But looking for another boundary as he sneaks that by the outstretched hand of Carmine LaRue. They will keep that from reaching the boundary. We'll keep the chat right here with just 1 over left. And Golden State at 72 for 6 with 6 overs or 6 balls left to bowl. But yeah, we look forward to seeing how Golden State comes out here and reacts to a real punch in the face. As we said, a bit crestfallen, I would imagine, having their season more or less brought to a close in terms of meaningful games. They'll have 1 more left here next week against Silicon Valley after the nightcap. But tough thing to ask. An opportunity to really show yourself as a professional, I would imagine, as well.
It's a pretty decent test of your temperament, coming back after a tough defeat, trying to focus and show up on the second leg of the doubleheader. It's also a chance to test themselves against this pretty quality opposition again. So you would hope that they marshal the determination to put together a great game this afternoon.
1 over left, and we talked about cobbling together the other 4 overs in the absence of Paradkar. Here's an example of that. Saideep Ganesh is going to bowl his first over, certainly here, and he nearly takes a wicket as a fielder off of his own bowling, throwing back behind Tondale. It'll just go down as a very eventful dot ball. But for Ganesh, that is for sure his first over bowling this season. Apparently a right-arm medium pacer. That one hit by Tondale, hits him. Ganesh again looking to try and effect a run out. 2 deliveries, 2 dots.
That is a consecutively eventful dot ball occurrence. Ganesh having to do a fair bit of fielding on both of these balls.
And you talk a lot of times in baseball about the idea, like, somebody hits a little blooper that you happen to get 2 bases off of, like, it's a line drive in the scorebook. This is the exact opposite of that. This is incredibly busy moments that just go down in the book as a dot. That's it.
This time
Full
a full toss.
toss.
It's been smashed over square leg for a 6. It goes beyond the fencing. A rare 6, a handy 6 for Grizzlies. Tundale moves to 14 from 21 with that strike.
For Tundale, worth noting here, his first 6 of the season, just his 9th in minor league cricket. I was busy scurrying to find out if it was indeed the case. This is not just Saideep Ganesh's first over this season. It's his first over ever in MILC. First 2 balls went pretty well, and then the full toss dispatched. This one along the ground.
Much better from Ganesh there. He bowled this one sort of foolish, unlike the full toss of the previous ball, and the batters get 2.
I do appreciate the very tall batter at one end and the in the sky blue helmet, and the shorter one at the other end in the red pads. No doubt. You look over there, it's like, was that 1? Was that 2? No problem. You know exactly what you're looking at. Penultimate ball of the encounter. 8 so far from this over. Tundale, that one's in the air, looking to split long off, and Tadic unable to get there, and a cry of fury and frustration. A lot of effort to try to get to that, and just could not quite execute the end of it. It'll be another 4 here for Tundale. A decent little stretch, puts together a nice-looking innings for himself all of a sudden. 20 for 20 off 23. One of the only Grizzlies striking anywhere near 100.
Tundale finding a little bit of late momentum. The last ball of the innings coming up.
And that is going to be pushed through the covers, just wide of the man on the inner circle. A single to finish up. And Golden State Grizzlies will finish out 85 for the loss of 6. It ends up being a 106 run victory for the East Bay Blazers. Never particularly in doubt during the course of the batting innings. Golden State started off being restrained in terms of trying to accrue run rate right from the get-go. And we'll take a look here at that batting card as it comes up on your screen. But restrained right from the get-go, you see here no one managing to reach that 100 strike rate. We top out with Tundale's 20 off 23. It started with Tarun Adada and Rahul Jariwala being absolutely staked to the crease. When Adada finally freed the arms and picked up a 6, the next 2 deliveries off of a new bowler spelled the end of both of the openers, as Gowda was responsible first for bowling Adada and then running out Jariwala in, somewhat comical fashion. Rahul came flying down the track. Kranthi wanted nothing to do with it, and Saideep Ganesh's throw was true, and Gowda took care of business there. That would lead to the domination of the Spin Twins in the middle overs after the power play had concluded. And there's a little discussion here perhaps about Vikash and Christopher, really what put this game in a stranglehold.
Yeah, so Vikash is bowling from the far end, bowling right arm around the wicket to both the left and the right-handed batters, while Christopher is bowling a left arm wrist spin from over the wicket. So both Spin Twins are waiting their flight and testing the batters with clever lines and deft placement of the fielders. Eventually, significant gulf, I guess, in execution of skills. Blazers outshining Grizzlies with bat, ball, and field.
Yeah, we would just see that late action there from Tundale and Bhatt, adding a decent number of runs after that last wicket fell. We're going to turn our attention in a moment here over to the bowling card for the East Bay Blazers. That's, of course, where the bulk of the action is here, as you see the flurry of wickets, the first and second falling back-to-back, and then the other three of them on 44 runs. And, I mean, who to even pick as the star of that show? Vikash Mohan, 11 runs conceded and picks up 2 wickets in his 4 overs. Ram Saran, we talked about, 2 for 16. And of course, Sanjay Krishnamurthy, the uber economical spell, although don't sleep on Rushilo Garkar there either. 7 runs off of his 3 overs. Between the two of them, very impressive stuff. And of course, with Krishnamurthy backing up on what he did with bat in hand to create this mountain to climb here for the Grizzlies, I think a pretty solid choice for your player of the match, wouldn't you say, Huddy?
Sanjay Krishnamurthy takes this hands down because of his all-round show. He, along with Sudhir Gowda, probably headlined the batting show, and Sanjay also chiming in with the ball here, especially up top. Throttling the run rate. Oh, this has been worked.
Oh boy,
towards a
I
long
better
run
get ready to
region.
catch.
So it's the hitting range.
We'll go
Oh
ahead
my
and wrap it up
goodness
here.
gracious, that's the first 6 of the
as we've
Grizzlies
got the
innings.
final stats up there. As we said, Sanjay Krishnamurthy doesn't appear since he didn't take a wicket on the bottom right. But
Sujith
the
Gowda
12 runs in 4
into
overs,
the
the
attack
expert
and
work to apply the pressure in the power play, and of course with bat in hand, leading East Bay Blazers to a comprehensive victory here by 106 runs. With that net run rate boost that the Blazers have taken, pretty likely they are on their way to the postseason, but they'll have a chance to make it absolutely mathematically impregnable when they take on the Grizzlies in the late game. Scheduled at the moment for a 3 p.m. start. We'll see if that's what it ends up being, given that we got done here a little bit earlier than you might have expected for a 10:30 a.m. Beginning. But either way, Game 2 on the way. Blazers looking to lock down that playoff spot here from Santa Clara. We hope you'll join us for that. For Huddy Venkataramani, I am Joe Hickey. Hope you've enjoyed Game 1. We'll see you right back here in about an hour.
Oh, this has been worked.
Oh boy,
towards a
I
long
better
run
get
region.
ready to
We
catch.
are in the hitting range.
Oh my goodness gracious, that is...
That's the first 6 of the Grizzlies innings.
Oh, and he's knocked him over. Sujith Gowda into the attack and immediately into the... That one is back behind. They thought about, oh dear heavens, that's going to be a mix-up between the wickets, and why rush this process? Gowda are a little more challenging to get directed where you want.
Oh, this was struck over the bowler's head. It's going to be 4. It is 4. Lovely. Vikash Mohan to continue from the far end, bowling right arm around. Oh, this is being lifted towards the long on region. In fact, it's lifted right into the hands of the long on. Oh, Sekon goes for a airy-fairy shot wide of long off. Gunny's tracking it, and Gunny's pounced on it. That is a sharp catch. About a couple of yards in. Oh, he's found the stumps. Ramsrain has found the stumps. Again, Raza going. Then bowling to the Set Kumar. Oh, the Set Kumar is now unset. Did I just jinx him? Vikash bowled it pretty quick around.
Desk.
Oh, there's a decent connection on that by the left-handed Sohan, but that's a beautiful boundary. It finds the fence. It actually knocks the cone down.
A dot. That's it.
This time
full
a full toss. It's been smashed over square leg for a 6. It goes beyond the fencing.
Penultimate ball of the encounter. 8 so far from this over. Tondale, that one's in the air, looking to split long off, and Tadic unable to get there, and a cry of